Greasy. Now let's talk about the possibility of Indiana being able to run against this Michigan team today.
I think it's going to be very tough for Indiana to run. You know, Bo Schembechler of Michigan always says defense wins championships. I think what they're going to try and do is run at Mark Mesner, the outstanding defensive lineman for the University of Michigan. Michigan, in turn, is going to slant their line to mess up the blocking assignments of that offensive line for Michigan. And I don't think that Indiana is going to be able to run that well. I think the key is for David Schnell, the quarterback, is going to have to throw the ball and throw it well short, possibly to Tim Jordan, their outstanding tight end.
Well, now, these two coaches come out of the same cradle. Their philosophies are basically the same. The Michigan offensive front against the Indiana defensive front. Now, Michigan is awfully big up front offensively.
They average 288 pounds up front. I think they may be able to run some, and I think the key for Michigan is not to make mistakes. They have a lot of young players. Only six seniors on the starting 22 for Michigan, 10 sophomores, as opposed to Indiana with 16 seniors in their starting 22. The key for Michigan is don't make mistakes like they did last week at Iowa when they fumbled the ball on the goal line.
Yeah, frustration might be a motivation because nothing really has gone quite right for Bo Schembechler and his Wolverines. But as they line up here on homecoming, there's got to be a little extra adrenaline, and hear the roar. 105,000 as the Wolverines come out of the tunnel. It is homecoming at the University of Michigan, and obviously there are a lot of other events going on. One of the annuals they have here is called the Mud Bowl. The 54th annual of that is played in the SAE fraternity's front yard. Now, what they'll do with that front yard next week, I have no idea, but they sure didn't mess it up today. The Phi Delta beat SAE in the 54th renewal 12-0. The ladies got into the act, too. Kappa Kappa Gamma and Kappa Alpha Theta jumping out into the same muddy place to a 1-1 tie. But they showed the same grit and determination and fight as their male counterparts.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
The legendary Chevy Camaro. Remember all the times you told yourself that someday you'd have one? Welcome to someday.
The heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
If you think being out of the house means being out of touch, you don't know Uniden. I've told you before, this is a great cordless phone. Going for a longer ride? Take a Uniden cellular phone, or two-way radio, a CB, a powerful scanner, or get the whole picture with a Uniden satellite TV receiver. Whichever you choose Uniden.
Uniden quality goes the distance.
ABC's College Football is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet, by Crest Toothpaste. Go ahead, show them your Crest best. And by USF&G Insurance. USF&G covers the USA.
Well, we hope before the day's over that the sun will come out. You see the history of this rivalry. And that 14-10 win last year by Indiana was a cornerstone in the renaissance of the football program under Bill Mallory at Bloomington. The first Indy win in 20 years a year ago, and Bill brings his team in here today. Each and every one of them will tell you real quick that we still don't think that the people respect us enough. We intend to do something about that today. Well, if they can, they will go home certainly with a higher margin of respect. Bo Schembechler left Miami of Ohio to come take the job at Michigan, and Bill Mallory succeeded him as the head coach at Miami. So the philosophy of these two men, and they are very close personal friends, very much the same. Kicking game, field position, defense.
And run.
And run.
Running game.
So Yanovich will kick it off for white-shirted Indiana, one of the strongest legs in college football. John Colasar and Tony Bowles, two speedsters, are deep. Colasar a wide out, and Bowles a tailback. He hammers that ball back into the end zone with that swirling wind and a big hole for Bowles as Tony bolts from across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. So the Michigan Wolverines now will go to work. Pretty good field position. It rained yesterday and through much of last night. Has not rained today, but it is still damp down on the rug. And they do play on the artificial surface. Joe Ziegler is in the cornerback position for Indiana, replacing Eric Coleman. Coleman with an ankle problem and just couldn't get it loose enough. Michael Taylor on the first snap gives it to Tony Bowles. And Indiana defense, very, very quick. They run to the ball well, and they hold him after a couple of yards. Offensively, Michigan lines up this way. At quarterback, you've got Michael Taylor. Ford is the fullback with Bowles at tailback. The flankers are Colasar and Greg McMurtry. Brown, Doring, Dingman, Vitale, Hussar, and Skrepanak. As Bob mentioned in the opening, Michigan runs an average of about 288 pounds across the front offensively. From the 29-yard line, second down and 8 for Michigan. This time it is the fullback, Leroy Horde, getting the ball. He's a junior out of New Orleans, and Dan Bauer, the nose guard, brings him down. Bauer anchoring the three down people of Harris and Schlureth. The linebackers are Saunders, Bates, Money, and Huff. Huff very active outside. Secondary, Dumas, Berry, DeWitt, and Bowman, as we told you, not in there. Joe Ziegler is getting the start. And Ziegler is 5'9", 170, is giving away height and weight in that secondary cornerback position. Third down now, and 3, as Taylor drops the throw. Colasar is wide open on the sideline and has the first down for Michigan at the 45. And he ran off Ziegler on that play.
One of the biggest improvements in this Michigan ball club is the play of Michael Taylor, their quarterback. He has come on very strong and given some soundness and some consistency to this position. Last year at this time, they had 13 intercepted passes. This year, with Taylor at the helm, only 2 interceptions.
So Ziegler gave Colasar the big cushion. And they picked up their first down just over the 45. Hole over the right side for the big hole for Horde. It's a foot race, and Leroy is out of bounds. Touchdown! He didn't go out. He made it by the slightest fraction into the corner.
The linebackers over pursued, and Horde, who is the fullback, not known as a ball carrier, usually the blocker, gets through the line, has enough speed to beat DeWitt. That's Berry, number 21, into the end zone.
Horde with a big moment. 54-yard run in his Michigan career, and Mike Gillette is on for the kick. Ken Solomon will hold it, puts it down, and it's good. So, just that quick, a bolt of lightning from the Michigan Wolverines as they jump out to a 7-0 lead.
I wish there was something the family could watch together. There is. Who's that? Your fairy godmother. Watch.
For a limited time, you can buy Walt Disney's Cinderella on video cassette. And to celebrate, Crest Toothpaste is having a special offer.
Remember these little guys? Chuck and Gus.
How about her?
Ooh, this was your favorite part.
And when you buy Cinderella and 2 Crests, you get $3 back by mail.
They'll love it.
Mommy, who are you talking to?
Why is this man still up with his cold, sniffling through tissue after tissue?
counting his coughs and sneezes, wrestling with aches and pains. Why is he suffering instead of resting? Why? Because he's holding out for the medicine that works best for him. Cherry-flavored NyQuil. It's the great-tasting night-time sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. In original flavor, too.
The Wolverines have a perfect homecoming record of 19-0 under Bo Schembechler.
Leroy Horde with a 54-yard dart to get Michigan out early, 7-0. And they will now kick off. Rob Turner, a wideout, is the middleman for Indiana, flanked by Darrell Eddings and Markel Granderson. Mike Gillette, also one of the outstanding place kickers in the country. Very good athlete. He made the headlines when he ran out of a fake punt and scored a touchdown for the Wolverines. Also a very good punter. Hammers a line drive that skitters down the field and is picked up by Darrell Eddings. And he works his way back up to around the 30-yard line. For a moment, it appeared the ball might have come loose, but no such thing.
Go back and take a look at the touchdown. Saunders right here, the linebacker, is going to come up. Now watch Schlereth, 54, is going to come around him. Money is going to take himself out of the play, and watch the fullback is going to come right up in through here. Quick handoff, little game on the weak side. Michigan picks it up very nicely. Horde is off to the races.
So Indiana, with its first possession now, will operate out of the I formation. Dave Snell at quarterback sets him up with two wideouts and gives the ball to Anthony Thompson, who will pick up 1 yard to the 31.
Another look. Watch the hole that's created here. Dingman is 78. And Doring is 73. Now 54, Schlereth takes himself out of the play. Doring, 73, gets a nice block on Saunders. And a nice run.
And Vitale took care of Bauer by himself. The Michigan center took the nose guard right out of the play. That's going to be a very big matchup today. Snell back to throw on 2nd down and 9. Looks and looks and looks and now throws it away. There was nobody available to him. Snell lining up with the backfield behind him of Anthony Thompson at the tailback position with Cal Miller at fullback. Rob Turner is one wide out and Tony Buford the other. Up front it's Jordan, and Jordan catches a lot of balls. Simon, Radke, Fargo, Schrader, and Pryor. That's a very good offensive front, and they are going to be tested because, as Bob mentioned early on, the Wolverines will be slanted, coming at angles more today than they have in any game they played this season. It is 3rd and still 10. Snell's pass is good, and it's good for a first down, and that was a pressure catch at the 44-yard line by Rob Turner. The sophomore was covered very well by David Arnold, but he hauled it in. Defensively, Michigan lines up with 3 down people of Brent White, T.J. Osman, and Mark Messner. You want to watch number 60 if you want to watch a lineman really work on defense. The linebackers are Marshall, Grant, Milligan, and Abrams. The secondary, Arnold, Welburn, Murray, and Key. So it's first down, Indiana, on a big 3rd down catch by Turner at their own 44. Michigan leading 7-0 on Horde's 54-yard run. Snell, little quick pop to the sideline is not good, intended for Anthony Thomas, who had come out of the backfield. What I see at this particular moment, Bob, are the Indiana people coming out, and particularly the wideouts, or the people who are running the short patterns, are coming out and stopping. They're not continuing to move. They're standing around.
Well, they have to clear it out, except for that last play where Turner caught for the first down. The wide receivers have to clear it out for the 2 backs and the tight end. Indiana's going to throw short, and to do that, you have to clear out with your wide receivers.
They go to the shotgun on 2nd down and 10 now. Snell gives the ball away to Anthony Thompson, and Thompson finds a little bit of room up to about the 49. So that's a 4-yard pickup. And Bill Mallory told me yesterday about how he planned to go at the Michigan defense.
Well, we're going to go after them. You know, we're not coming in and doing anything different than what we've done. So, you know, our offense is geared to go after you with the run, and again, we're going to mix it up with the pass. So you won't see any difference in us than what we've been in the previous games.
But in this first defensive possession, he's gone to the pass, I think, sooner than he had hoped not to. 3rd and 6. Snell's pass to the sideline. Turner's over there, and he's got it. First down at the Michigan 40. So once again, Snell hits his man on the 3rd down play. And it was expected. And we made a very hard point of it at the very outset that Snell might be the man that would have to step up today and really take charge.
Indiana likes to run. In fact, they lead the Big Ten in rushing. Michigan on defense leads the conference in total defense. So you figure that Michigan is going to take away what Indiana does best. That's run. And for Snell, he's been successful so far.
This goes to Miller, the fullback. And Cal Miller out of the split back alignment just hammers it off the right side. I think another thing that'll be interesting, and there's another big ball game in the Big Ten with the Spartans and the Illini even now in the 3rd quarter at Champaign. Whether or not the Indiana offensive front can continue to hammer on the Michigan defense. We saw when we did the Miami game here, Bob, the Michigan defensive people get tired.
The problem with Michigan, they've lost 2 games and tied 1, is in the 4th quarter they have not played as well. You would think that they do tie.
Vince Dooley said that he thought Kentucky was an explosion waiting to happen. Well, it happened. Kentucky beat Georgia 16-10. Good run there by Thompson. It's still short of the first down. 3rd down and short coming up. Here's Corey McFerrin from our studio in New York.
The Southeastern Conference race is in a scramble. There are now 5 teams tied with 1 loss. Kentucky, the upset of the day with this big touchdown run after a Georgia fumble. This made it 13-10 and a field goal, and the Wildcats beat Georgia by 6.
Didn't get it. He's going to be just short of the first down. That sounded like Al Crocker. I was told that it was Corey McFerrin.
I thought Al was going to be in Hawaii or something.
I did too. Yeah. Sorry about that, Al.
This is 4th down for Indiana. They've made 2 first downs so far. They lead the conference in 3rd down conversion. And on 4th down this year, they've made 10 of 11 times they've tried it. So Bill Mallory's ball club going to try one more right here.
Going after it on 4th and 1. And a penalty flag. And a whistle stops it. As Indiana comes to the ball. Procedure against the Hoosiers. Ron Winter is the referee in today's ball game. And one would think that might change Bill Mallory's mind, and on comes the kicking team.
4th down.
Jim Augustine is the umpire. Head linesman is Wayne Meese today. Line judge is Ron Bennington. Field judge John Everett. Side judge Bob Colburn. And the back judge is Tom Herbert. It'll be a 53-yard try by Stojanovic. His longest of his career is 53 yards. Tim Jordan, the tight end, holds the ball. And it's down at the 43. Wind swirls around. It's a big one. Enough leg. He got it. 53 yards. Stojanovic, a hammer of a leg. Makes it a 7-3 ball game, Michigan.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
It's Chevy S10 versus Ford Ranger, folks, in the Dash from Destruction. A test of getaway acceleration between two compact pickups, each with biggest available engine and automatic. Which one has the power to win? Chevy's bigger V6 is already pulling away from Ford and that runaway dynamite car. Chevy S10 has the power to get away, but Ford doesn't. No wonder when it comes to pickups, America's having a change of heart.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Well, they do a lot of funny things sometimes at homecoming at different places. Here in Michigan, they have a car bashing contest. And they accumulate monies from this, and it goes to the Chick Evans Scholarship Fund. It looks like my car.
It's a great way to work out your frustrations, isn't it?
Get a little relief pounding those books. All right, Stoyanovich puts it on the tee after a 53-yard field goal, which ties his IU career record. And both teams score off the initial possession.
He was an outstanding soccer player in high school. In fact, was All-American for 2 years and was an outstanding player here at Michigan until this year. Stoyanovich decided to give it up and concentrate on football.
Kolasar is back there, 40, along with Tony Bowles, number 42, the tailback. They like Bowles to have the ball, though Kolasar is a speed merchant himself. High, deep, soaring kick way back. No return off that one.
Down in the end zone for a touchback. Stoyanovich has got a strong leg, as you mentioned, and that not being returned, that's 30 of the last 35 kickoffs have not been returned past the 20-yard line, and that's a great thing for your defense, Keith.
Leroy Horde coming down on the kickoff coverage, shaken up. And it looks like he's had his belt hung, and he's wobbling around, and they're going to take a little time for him. He is in no shape to be going out and playing football right now. He's going to have to come off the field. That'll put Jared Bunch into the lineup. He's really groggy. So he has to come out, and Bunch goes in. Jared is a junior from Ashtabula, Ohio, and he's got a very sore shoulder. There's that Michigan offensive front to give you some idea of the breadth. I mean, when Strepanak gets after you, it's like building chasing.
6'8" and 322, Strepanak.
All right, first down Wolverines. They lead 7-3 from the 20 trailer. Gives it to Bowles. Pursuit this time much better by Indiana. Doug Schlereth, a senior from Biddeford, Maine, made the first hit, number 54 for the Hoosiers. Second down and 10 for Michigan. Bowles again. Found some room. Ball comes loose as he goes down. Clearly on the ground before the ball came out. And it's just across the 28. Hit by Schlereth and Huff. Doesn't have quite the sock that it normally does when Alabama and Penn State play because of their seasons. Look at NC State, knocks off Clemson. Dick Sheridan's got things going in Raleigh. That's a considerable upset. Third down and 2, they give it to Bowles. Tony won't get it. Very good defensive reaction by Brad Money and Jim Sams. Sams is in right now at the nose guard position for Indiana, but it was 53 Money that really laid the hit on him and stuck in cold.
Both linebackers were there, both inside linebackers. The line was slanting, and Money got over and made the hit. Bates was also there, but Money with the tackle.
All right, first punt today by Mike Gillette. Tony Buford will go back for Indiana. He shows the respect for Gillette. He goes all the way back inside his 30. Gillette's going to hit the ball from around his own 20. Got it out of there. Spinning kick. Got a little bit of daylight for Buford, but down he goes. Good coverage downfield by number 90 for Michigan, Keith Mitchell, a tight end. A 35-yard punt Loss of 2 on the attempt to return it. 6:46 to go first quarter. Michigan leading 7-3.
My brother just got the most critically acclaimed, top-rated compact disc player, a Magnavox. Sounds good, too. No other CD players won more awards for flawless sound.
Sounds good, too.
Audio experts say nothing even comes close.
It sounds great.
Magnavox makes incredible CD players.
Sounds good, too.
Well, what do you expect? Magnavox is the company that invented CD technology.
Then you suspect it would sound good, too.
They're smart, Tom.
Yeah. Very smart.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
Listen to the heartbeat. Well, of America, my friend, it's the rhythm of the road, it's the awesome street, a city, a town, magic sound. Oh, the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet. You oughta listen.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
Thanks. Piece of cake. And it shows.
Beckler prowling his sidelines as Bill Mallory's Indiana Hoosiers come up for their second possession of the ball game. They trail 7-3 here in the first quarter from the 34. First down. Fullback Miller made the move as if he was going to go to Thompson, but handed short to Miller, and Miller gets about 8 yards on the carry. Our reporter from the field today, Becky Dixon.
Keith, a quick word on the wind conditions here at Michigan Stadium. It is a cold, blustery wind coming in from the northwest, and already this strong wind has come into play here. I just talked to kicker Pete Stoyanovich. He said on his 53-yard field goal, the wind was a factor, but he also said give him some of the credit. Keith?
I'll give him all the credit because he's got a hammer for a leg. Gene Boyd is now the fullback for Indiana. They go to Thompson. Thompson up the middle for the first down. Hits the 45 and crosses to the 46. So Indiana, as Bill Mallory said, doing what they have been doing. Hammer at you. Drive, block. Bang, bang, bang.
Look at the Indiana offense. They lead the Big Ten in 5 different categories, including total offense. Michigan's defense, as we mentioned, is #1 in the Big Ten also. So it's one offense against one defense.
First down, Hoosiers. Carlos Marte. In a tight end right now, and Snell rolls sideline. Good. Turner. About a 9-yard pickup on the throw. Well, so far, Bob Greasy, Dave Snell has been equal to the challenge.
He has. He has thrown some good passes, and it's George Ballou, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays in the press box, and I think it's key for a young quarterback on the road to complete some passes early in the ball game. And Snell has picked up some critical third downs and has thrown the ball very well.
Rob Turner has caught 3 for 34 yards, and you saw that Michigan State has gone ahead of Illinois. Fullback. Gene Boyd, a junior from Zionsville, Indiana, trying for the first down, and he's not going to have it. Notre Dame, #2, shutting down the Air Force Wishbone. Duke losing their first last week. Looks like Steve Spurrier's Lads may be in trouble this week. Wyoming rolling along undefeated. That's a battle right there for possibly the Southwest Conference title between Arkansas and Houston. It is third and a long yard. Close to 2. Michigan almost jumped. Did jump. They caught the Wolverines in the neutral zone, I do believe. If so, it'll be 5 yards offside and a first down for Indiana. So Michigan is offside, which makes it first down. Hoosiers yesterday, Bosham Beckler had this comment about his Wolverine defensive team.
Well, I've been a little critical of our defense, and after 6 games, I pick up the stats, and we lead the conference in total defense. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, I think that's going to be very important. I don't think we'll shut them down cold. For example, if Thompson runs the ball 30 times, gains 100 yards, I'm not going to get too upset about that. When he starts to gain over 4 yards a crack, then I think we've got to start to worry.
Ball is at the 40 of Michigan. First down, Indiana. Michigan leading 7-3 on a 54-yard touchdown run in the first possession by Leroy Horde. Anthony Thompson working over the left side. And AT will pick up about 3. Very durable back. Tough guy.
Strong running back. Lifts over 400 pounds bench presses. He does not have great blazing speed, but he has a good enough quickness and some moves along with his strength to be a very dangerous runner.
Second down, 7 from the 37 of Michigan. Hill has his tight end wide open, and it's a first down at the 25 of Michigan. Tim Jordan made the catch.
The play-action fake is going to hold the linebackers. Jordan, 86, is going to get a nice release. Just slant to the outside. And Snell on a semi-roll makes it easier to get the ball to him.
Michigan covers deep. They're a conservative defensive team, and that gives that tight end some room.
It gives the wide receivers room on outs also.
Marte back in there at tight end. Chips over. Thompson bounces away from the first wave and cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. Very good pursuit by David Arnold, number 15. He got away from Mark Messner, number 60. But it was Messner who forced him wide enough, giving Arnold time to get there.
And what happened on that time when the tight end shifted from the right side to the left side, that was Marte, the entire Michigan defense slid over toward the tight end. So they were overstacked toward the tight end. Indiana continued to run that way. And the running back did a nice job just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
It would have been a very good time for the checkoff and a little misdirection, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
Second down, 11. Thompson up the middle. Just over the 25. So the Michigan plan to slant so far paying dividends.
Yes, it is. Stuffing them up the middle, and that's what they wanted to do. Force Snell to throw, and he's thrown very well.
And he's going to have to air it out right here. Eddie Thomas checks in at a wideout, replacing Buford. Thomas is number 7. Turner stays in. Carlos Marte is the tight end. Cal Miller is back in at fullback. Out of the shotgun, Snell drops. Pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. He had a very good chance at his tight end running a corner pattern, but the ball was slapped down. And in comes Pete again. He kicked a 53-yarder a few minutes ago. Now he's got a chip shot of 42 yards. Jordan, the only tight end I know of in college football who does the holding on place kicks, down on his knee to accept the snap. Kick is away. Missed it. Missed it right. 2:09 to go in the first quarter.
To the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
The Chevy Beretta Sport Coupe, designed to help you look better, engineered to help you drive better, and priced to let you live better.
Help protect your plans and dreams. Our agents are the key. Together
Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. They take the court against international competition in the McDonald's Basketball Open, live tomorrow on ABC Sports.
This is Al Troutwig in New York. Troy Aikman starting to get things going as UCLA takes on Arizona after a bit of a scramble, a 2-yard touchdown run to Danny Thompson. Bruins 7, Arizona nothing in the first. Keith?
Thanks, Al. UCLA ranked #1 in the country. They get the big shootout next week with Washington State Cougars, 2 of the top offensive teams in the country. And some of you are going to be seeing that game. Washington State's playing Arizona State out there today. All right, Michigan taking over at their 25, first down, leading 7-3. Give it to Tony Bowles, the tailback. And Tony will have the better part of 4 yards as he works his way in the middle. Bowles, 6'1", 190, a junior. He comes from Western Michigan, and he's very quick. Checking in at a wideout for the Michigan Wolverines, Chris Callaway. He's the junior out of Chicago. He's also very quick. Michigan's got very good speed at the wide position. Back to the tailback, Bowles. It's the first sack, and then Joe Huff is right there to put him down. They'll mark him just over the 26-yard line, and here's Becky.
Keith, Michigan fullback Leroy Horde was injured on Michigan's last offensive possession. He was hit in the head. It's not certain now as to whether or not he will go back in.
Right. Crowd today is 106,104. That is the 6th largest crowd in this great big old saucer. That's a lot of folks.
Interesting, yesterday talking with Bo, he says, he said, if we get 90,000 in here, we're really hurting. He said, we're talking about not filling this place up. We'll do this every week.
3rd and 9. Huff after Taylor. Taylor takes off. Penalty flag. I think Michigan's going to get dinged for holding, I believe, number 73. Tom Doring was holding Huff. That's right. Oh, they wipe out that game.
Well, Bo's not happy about penalties. He came into the ball game the third least penalized team. Look to the left side of your screen. 73 is Doring. 35 is Huff. He pulls him down. If you pull him down now, Huff put himself in that situation where Doring's hand was across his chest. That in itself is not a hold, but when you pull the man down, that is the hold.
Yeah, that clearly says you've got a grip, doesn't it?
Yeah. But just the fact that his arm was across Huff's chest is not holding because Huff put himself in that situation. They call that the arm under. When the defensive man puts his arm under, he puts the offensive man in that situation.
3rd down and 19 now after the penalty. So back at the 16 of Michigan. Bowles in motion. Taylor with a shovel forward to Bunch. Bunch has got a bunch of yards. He's got a first down out at the 36-yard line. Time running down at the end of the first quarter. West Virginia winning big today, so is Florida State. We've got 10 seconds to go in the first period. And Michigan's going to let time run out before they take another snap. So we have played 15 minutes at Michigan Stadium, and the Wolverines are leading the Indiana Hoosiers 7-3.
At UPS, we're changing the face of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. And let's face it, a drachma saved is a drachma earned. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Announcing the Holiday Inn Make the Super Call game. Come to Holiday Inn, get a game card.
Now, Super Bowl 18. 4 minutes to go. Raiders face a 4th and goal. You call it. Scratch off the right play, and you win. Thousands of prizes. Even a trip to the Super Bowl. Everybody's getting into it.
Only at America's favorite hotel. For reservations, make the Super call.
For years, you've seen some commercials where one battery company's toys outlast the other toys. So you may have assumed their battery outlasts even Energizer batteries. Fact is, Energizer was never invited to their playoffs. And today's Energizer won't be invited either. Why? Because no battery lasts longer than Energizer. So now you know. A word to the wise. Energize.
It's here. It's new, and it may change your view of the automotive world. It's GMAC's new way to help you into a lot of car or truck without tying up a lot of your money, and to help you break free with low monthly payments. Introducing Smart Lease by GMAC. Look into it today at your GM dealers. Smart Lease by GMAC. Automotive leasing will never look the same.
It is 7-3. Michigan, after 1 quarter of play, the Wolverines come back to the line of scrimmage, owning the football first down near their own 37-yard line, and Michael Taylor turns and gives to the fullback, Jarrett Bunch, and Bunch hammers in there close to the 40-yard line. Leroy Horde, the starting fullback for Michigan, on the very first possession on this play, bolted 54 yards for a touchdown to give Michigan its 7-0 lead. And then on the kickoff coverage following the touchdown, Horde took a bump to the head and is out of the lineup and has not returned. Second down, call it 7. This is Bowles with the ball. Money missed him, and Bowles gets out near midfield for a first down at the 49-yard line. Brian DeWitt brought him down, but Money had him and didn't get him. Came up with nothing but air as Bowles made the move in the first quarter numbers.
Stats are pretty even. There's not much there. The only thing that you might notice is the total plays. Indiana had 18 plays and Michigan only 10. Key there is turnovers. Neither one of these teams likes to turn the ball over. Of course, no team likes to do that, but these two teams really talk about it a lot.
McMurtry and Callaway wide. Jeff Brown is the tight end for Michigan on first down. Bowles the tailback with the ball into the stack. Well, somehow he bounced off that stack and found some wiggling room and got down to about the 44 of Indiana. Tomorrow, ABC Sports will have the oldest international horse race in the United States, the Turf Classic. Top horses all over the world, including France, Soviet Union, England, Ireland, and the U.S. in the Budweiser International, beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Central and Pacific. And then the Boston Celtics will be in Spain in the McDonald's Basketball Open, playing Real Madrid. This is Bunch. He's having a big day, too. So the Michigan fullback looks like they might be in for a busy afternoon. First down, Wolverines at the Indiana 35.
But that big offensive line that is really doing a job on Indiana right now. As we told you, they're weighing 288 on the average. Huzar was on that side, 74, and Skrepenek doing a nice job up front for Michigan.
Bunch, number 32, started the season at that position. There's a penalty flag. And Horde finally got the call at the spot, and now Bunch is back in there having a big day. It's holding against Michigan, and that is the second holding call.
Schembechler is really upset at the amount of penalties that have been called on his ball club in the last couple of weeks. As I mentioned, overall this season, they're the third least penalized team in the Big Ten, but the last 2 weeks, well, 2 weeks ago at Michigan State, 93 yards in penalties. Last week, 82 yards at Iowa, and they're starting off very poorly as far as penalties are concerned here again today.
13:05 to go in the first half. Michigan leading 7-3. Derek Walker is now the tight end for the Wolverines. Polisar to the top of the picture. McMurtry to the bottom. And Bowles with the ball. And number 91 steps in there, Jim Sam. And he takes on Bowles, brings him down.
Sam didn't start the ball game today, but Joe Novak, the defensive coordinator for the Hoosiers, says he's probably our best defensive lineman. He's had some injury problems this year, just getting back into shape. But he's definitely our quickest defensive lineman, and he plays nose tackle and around John Vitale that time.
Second down and still about 20. Ball just over the Indiana 45. Taylor to throw. Good protection. Ball ricochets off the hands. And floats gently downfield. Indiana can't get a handle on it. Tony Bowles was the intended receiver. Number 21, Mark Ferry, pursuit of the ball. Couldn't quite get to it.
Bowles went down about 10 yards and made a move to the outside and then went straight up the field, and Money 53 may have saved a long completion as Bowles was open in between the linebackers and the defensive backs.
Indiana making defensive changes now. They may have 12 people. Dave Bernson counting them. Taylor trying to get away will go down back on the 49-yard line. There was nothing available downfield, and I think Indiana did have 12 people on the field. They made some defensive substitutions, and they sent 2 in and 1 went out. I think they got away with 1.
Sent more than that. Looked like they sent 4 in. Maybe only 3 went out, but anyway. I think the officials have counted correctly, or counted the problem.
Bo's out on the field. He's really yelling about it. Oh, they did catch him. I never did see a flag, but there's one down there in the corner. Huh? Well, I saw 2 come in, but only saw 1 go out.
Yeah.
Illegal participation on the defense. 12 men on the field. Third down.
That's a key play, too. Indiana had shut down Michigan. It was a time for Michigan to kick the ball over, so it was a possession.
Big mistake.
Possession foul. Michigan keeps the football.
Third down and 4, actually. After the penalty. Taylor back. Pass is caught by McMurtry down at the 14-yard line. Caught that ball in front of Brian DeWitt.
McMurtry, number 1, is an outstanding football player. A lot of speed. Here he is down here at the bottom. He's just going to go down and run a curl. Look at all the receivers over here. He's trying to get them thinking the other way, and he's going to throw the ball to the right side to McMurtry. Looks to his left. The curl pattern. First down.
Double tight end now for Michigan. Taylor cuts it. Got good yardage out of it. Gets down about the 6. Michael Taylor's outstanding option quarterback out of high school. And he's still got the move.
There's no outstanding players on this Indiana defense. They're a bunch of hard workers. But Huff, number 35, to the left right there, was a walk-on 5 years ago. If there's one guy that can make big plays, it's Joe Huff.
12th play in this Michigan possession. Second down. 2 for a first down. Just outside the 6 of Indiana. Boom. And it looks like he'll have the first down. Joe Huff again on the tackle for the Hoosiers, number 35. First and goal. There were two teams with unblemished conference records starting play today. One was Indiana, the other Illinois. Illinois was behind Michigan State a little while ago, 21-14. Michigan goes to the wishbone now with Horde and Bunt. Horde coming back into the game. Leroy winds up at the left halfback spot in the wishbone alignment. They give it instead up front to Bunt. Bunt bangs his way down to the 1 before they can stop his momentum. Garrett Bunch is the bigger of the two fullbacks. He weighs 240. So Bill Mallory now pacing a little on the sidelines, realizing his team is dangerously close to going down 14-3. Here's where the bulk of the offensive front means so much. Outside Bowles drops the ball. Indiana's got it. Can't run it. They've got it. Joe Ziegler. And, well, you know, I'm sitting here. They're down on the 1-yard line. They got all of that beef, 288 pounds, and for the living life of me, I don't understand why in the world they would run a wide play.
Well, you got my vote on that. You got a lot of power up front. I don't know why you're going to pitch the ball on a tough pitch like this down near the goal line. The second down, just run it in. You know, you've got that much power in front of you. That's a big turnover. Good play for Indiana.
So Bill Mallory's got to say thank you very much. We will take it.
When you need tools, any kind of tools, for every kind of job, one name gives you more good choices than any other. Craftsman.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Better try something else. Mine really works.
You'd better try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors recommend it more than all of the leading brands. None get rid of dandruff better than Selsun Blue.
You've seen Ford do this for years. But now there's a big new Chevy with enough power to not only haul tons of trucks up this mountain, but also tow away the entire mountain. The advanced full-size Chevy. No wonder, when it comes to pickups, America's having a change of heart.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevy truck.
Al Trautwig in New York. Illinois' tie with Indiana in the Big Ten is in jeopardy as Michigan State comes alive. Blake Ezor this time on a 6-yard touchdown, his second of the day and of the season. State leads Illinois 28-14 in the fourth.
Michigan had the ball for 14 plays in that possession. Used up 7 minutes and 43 seconds time. And then throw it away.
Well, it's not pretty when you get down to the 1-yard line and you just pound it away, but it's a smart and safe thing to do because if you pitch it down there and lose it, you're taking more of a chance than if you hand it to somebody.
Indiana's ball at their own 7. Anthony Thompson breaks it outside and breaks it big and gets a first down all the way out at the 28-yard line. 21 yards.
That's a big play for Indiana. Now they were looking at going down. 64 is Ratke, who pulls and blocks out on Key, the corner. Indiana was looking going down 14-3. They get the ball and they get a big first down. They get out of the hole. Big turnaround for the Hoosiers.
Boyd is in at fullback for the Hoosiers. Sells the throw on first down. Gets the pressure, gets it off. Pass is caught by Anthony Thompson. And Thompson is down at the 36, brought down by J.J. Grant. and you want to pump up somebody's balloon in a hurry, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Well, what we said at the opening was that this was a young Michigan team going against a veteran Hoosier team, and the thing that we said that they had to avoid mistakes and turning the ball over. They turned it over on the 1-yard line last week in the final minute to lose at Iowa, and they turned it over here in the first half against Indiana.
Here's the 36. Miller back in at fullback, and Miller has the ball. And Miller has the first down for Indiana at the 40. UCLA, second quarter, 14-0. That game's in Tucson against the Arizona Wildcats. And next week, some of you will be watching UCLA and Washington State from the Rose Bowl. Others will see Iowa at Indiana. Right now, the Hoosiers have their hands full with the Michigan Wolverines, trailing 7-3, 8 minutes to go in the first half. First down at the 40. Snell. Got a little room. This is something Schembechler worried about, letting Snell get loose. Dives for the marker, and he's there, and it looks like a first down.
He's hurt.
Snell is down on the sideline.
Hurt down, yeah. He came down a little differently than he expected. Just as he was coming down after he jumped, I think he hit somebody, the defensive man, and came down a little bit different than he was expecting.
The way he landed, it could mean the wind is knocked out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
It looked like he almost hit flat of his back, and normally when you come crashing down with that velocity on your back, it's going to knock the air out of you.
Now watch his jumps right here. Yeah, it's got to be his back or his left shoulder. I'd say it's just the wind knocked out of him.
Yep. So we've got a timeout at 7:52 to go in the first half.
Mom, send $500 soon, or there won't be a honeymoon.
I'm calling about your son, Jerome. Better send money. He wants to go home.
早く送ってくれないか。スピード違反でパクられた。
To send someone money fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our 10,000 locations, usually in 15 minutes or less. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
We're not a company.
But outstanding people come to us every day.
People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts.
People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual.
People who become your friends for life. People just like you.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
We're the armed forces.
It's a great place to start.
Well, they pumped him up. Looks like Dave's walking around, and it's going to be all right. But he has to come out for one play, which puts Tom Bolyard in. And I would think on a cold, windy day like this, you'd be as careful as you could.
It's no fun when you're coming in there as a backup. I understand the birthday guy came by your house this week.
He did.
Huh? Got hold of you, didn't he?
You should have seen the flowers that Greasy sent. I'm going to save them.
There weren't much to talk about when you got him.
Bolyard is the punter. Pretty good athlete. Senior class, junior eligibility, however. One of the top punters in the country. He's a good athlete. Give it to Thompson. That's pretty safe. And Thompson goes over behind the right guard. Then we'll get a yard on the play.
Bolyard started out at, as you take a look at Snell coming back in, Bolyard started out at Ohio State and then went out to Oklahoma junior college and led them the junior college to the junior college championship last year. Was an All-American punter and came to Indiana as a backup quarterback, and Snell is back in there.
Anthony Thompson now, for the record, has gone over 1,000 yards in this game. He has 1,003 on the season. Second down and 9. Snell back in to the sideline, little short, and Rob Turner could not reach low enough on the run to pull it in, so it's an incomplete pass.
It's going to take Snell maybe a play or two get his feeling back. You know, he took a pretty good shot, got the wind knocked out of him, and probably after that pass, he's going to be all right. But it takes a little bit when you get an injury like that.
Thomas in, Buford out. The wide out. Passing game, Turner has been the dominant factor so far today. He's been the only wide out they've thrown the ball to. Thomas is a burner. Snell gets it off. Pass is caught underneath by Anthony Thompson. Eric Anderson, inside linebacker, dropping off, a sophomore from Glenview, and makes the stop. Look at Northwestern. That'll make our director, Larry Cam, happy. We've got a Michigan man hurt on the sideline. That'll be David Key. David Key is the quarterback on the strong side. That'll be a tough loss if he's hurt. If they start fiddling around with those legs and ankles, you know, that can be serious. Virginia won today. George Welch Ball Club. Vandy. Watch the ground. Tennessee, could it be that they're going to win a game today? They're playing Memphis State in Memphis and leading. Game's underway out west as well, and here comes Key now, walking gingerly off the field.
Key is to the left of your screen, being blocked there. Almost a clip. He's hit by his own man, it looks like. I don't know if he got his ankle off the ground or not, but maybe it's a hip, or he just got hit by his own man. It looked like he got clipped by Jordan, number 86, to begin with.
It is fourth down. Colasar is the deep man for Michigan. Balliard is in the punt. Remember, he's the quarterback now. 6:56 to play in the first half. It's fourth and about 3. And they punt. High hanger. Oh, what a kick. Out of bounds inside the 5. You got a flag back upfield.
That'd be a first down. If it's holding on Michigan, it'd be a first down, and Bo knows it. That's a key penalty. Again, the penalties have been haunting him the last couple of weeks. This will be like a turnover. This will give the ball back to Indiana.
Holding on the defense. Post scrimmage kick enforcement.
Post scrimmage.
First down.
Okay, it was after the kick. Okay. Bo's not quite as upset as he would have been.
I bet it happened prior to the kick. Indiana would be sitting down around the 32-yard line with the first down.
Well, still, Indiana's got to be pleased with that series, that possession, because they got the ball on the turnover by Michigan inside the 5-yard line, moved it down maybe 60 yards, and then punted it. Now they have Michigan backed up inside their own 4-yard line.
Ball is at the 2. Timeout for the moment. Becky Dixon.
Keith, an update on Michigan quarterback David Key. He slightly twisted his ankle. They taped it up for extra support on the sideline. He will be going back in.
Right now, you have a little situation here where you would say normally the pressure is on the Michigan offense. Well, sure, it's on the Michigan offense, but from the Indiana perspective, the pressure's on their defensive people to keep Michigan bottled up so the offense can have a decent field position for a next possession. At 6:39 to play in the first half, and Michigan leading 7-3. Well, let's see if the Hoosiers can hold them. Do all right there, though I almost the face mask as Tony Bowles went down, but I don't see a flag. He'll have a yard just over the 3. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
There's one thing that Michigan does offensively is that they have got strong formation tendencies. That means when a defensive team like Indiana looks at all their game film offensively, they like to run certain plays in certain formations. That's not good offensively.
Holds again to about the 6. So it'll be 3rd down and 6. Watson Bowles behind Michael Taylor. Bowles found a crack outside, but still he is short of the 1st down. He got across the 10 to the 11, and Willie Bates finally hunted him down.
That was a big 1st down. No, they didn't make it.
No, didn't get there.
Close.
Yard short.
Well, it's a big possession for Indiana to stop them defensively. Michigan's offense ranked number 3 coming in, and Indiana's defense ranked number 4. So it's a big series for the Hoosiers defense.
All right, Gillette standing in his end zone will hit it around the 2 or the 3, and Buford is back waiting for the Hoosiers, standing way back at his 40. Comes up to the 45, and here he comes. Belty. Bobby Abrams, an outside linebacker running full tilt. Clobbered him at the 44.
Listen to the heartbeat. Well, of America, my friend, it's the rhythm of the road, it's the pulse on the street, a city, a town, magic sound. Oh, the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet. You oughta listen.
I'm Gene Rohrvig, State Farm agent. It's no secret why more drivers come to State Farm and stay with State Farm. They like the personal agent service and the way we handle claims, just like my policyholders, the BIMAs. And now, because Ralph and Nyla are over 50, they're saving important money with a State Farm discount. If you are 50 or over and you want great service and savings too, talk to a State Farm agent now.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It was 1979 that this Indiana-Michigan series provided a most dramatic finish. Time running out, game tied 21. John Wangler to Lawrence Reed, who then threw to stop the clock to Indiana coach Lee Corso. 6 seconds to play. Wangler loaded up on the last play. Hit Anthony Carter 45 yards. Michigan won at 27-21, and Lee Corso is still yelling for his fair catch. All right, with 4:33 to play in the 1st half, Indiana owns the ball at the Michigan 44. Michigan leads 7-3, and David Key is back in at the cornerback position at the ankle rewrap. David Snell looks for the pass. Got it. That's Rob Turner. And 1st down at the Michigan 22. Britt Welburn and David Arnold were defending, and Turner got right between them, and Snell was on the mark.
You got to be impressed too with the play calling. Best field position that Indiana has had all day on the Michigan side of the 50-yard line. 1st down play, a pass for a running team. Receiver was wide open.
7-11, 84 yards for Snell in passing. Fullback Miller. And he has his legs taken from him by Mike Teeter, but will get 2 yards on the carry.
Mark Mesner, number 60. See how the top of your screen slants to the inside. As we told you that the Michigan Wolverines are going to be slanting. He didn't make the play, but Teeter, number 91, did get there. When he slants, the defensive linemen kind of give themselves up to let the linebackers make the play.
Make it a 1-yard pickup, 2nd and 9. Snell keeps it. As he turns back looking for some daylight, he finds Trip Wilburn, number 3, who then turns him right into J.J. Grant, and down he goes. And Snell gets up a bit limpingly himself. Ball is near the 17 of Michigan, and Indiana will spend the timeout at 3:15 to go in the first half.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you in the way you look tonight. Lovely, don't you ever change, 'cause I love you just the way you look tonight.
One taste will tell you why.
Just the way you look tonight.
The night belongs to Michelob.
Last year, the 49ers handed Chicago one of their worst defeats ever. Now the Bears want revenge on ABC's Monday Night Football.
7-3. Indiana has, in each of its possessions, moved the ball to the Michigan side of the field.
You know,
this is their deepest penetration. They only have 3 points.
And this drive is really a continuation of the drive where they took over inside their own 5-yard line.
That's right.
They got stalled. They punted, let Michigan run 3. Michigan punted it back. They got great field position inside the 50, and now they're on a continuation.
Bolliard is in the ball game. Snell had to come out. He twisted that ankle. Got up very gingerly, and they had to take him out. So Bolliard is in there, quarterback on 3rd and 5 for the Hoosiers. Old quarterback going to throw it. Holding call going to come up here, I bet you, against Indiana. As Bolliard runs the ball close to a first down. Hold on. Here comes the official. Holding Indiana.
That's a costly penalty for Bill Mallory's team. They came in the least penalized team in the Big Ten, and that takes them out of a first down. Take a look at it. Teeter, 91. That's Fargo, the center. There he is. He's got his left arm hooked around him, and he pulls him right down. It's a nice call by the umpire. Sometimes we give too much discredit to these officials, but that was clearly a good call.
And so the ball comes back outside the 27th. And it'll be 3rd down and 15.
Snell must have sprained that ankle on that option play.
I think he did. Got up very gingerly. Bolliard stays in on 3rd and long. They're after him. He gets it off, and it is incomplete. And Wilburn comes up to slap it away from 34, Cal Miller.
New quarterback comes into the ball game, and Michigan does. They're in a nickel defense. These 4 plus the strong safety. The strong safety is going to blitz. This man's going to cover for him, and it gives a little bit different read to Bolliard, who just came in the ball game. Michigan disguising coverages very well. Coverage is there, and the pressure is there.
So Stoyanovich is in the ball game, and Pete will try this one from 45. He hit one from 53 going the other way, missed from 42 going the other way. Now this one from 43. 45. A lot of leg, a ton of leg, and it's good. Woo. I mean, that was a howitzer. And it's 7-6. Michigan by 1.
Owning a home or a brand new car can be a dream come true. And USF&G can help to protect and cover you. From the mountains edge to the ocean's edge, we insure you every day. We protect what America's made of. We cover the USA.
Extra strength Alka-Seltzer has more of what you take Alka-Seltzer for. More medicine. More bubbles. For fast relief of heartburn with a headache, try
Extra strength Alka-Seltzer. More of what you take Alka-Seltzer for.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system, now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
ABC's College Football is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet.
Homecoming weekend at the University of Michigan. Their team leads 7-6 with 2:42 to go. Stoyanovich accounting for Indiana scoring on 53 and 45-yard field goals. Michigan scoring coming on a 54-yard run by Leroy Horde. Dave Schnell is walking around on the sidelines. We'll see what the disposition is with him, but I sense, I know it's I shouldn't be saying this probably, but you almost have the sense that Indiana is beginning to take a little bit of grip on things, don't you?
Well, Michigan's not out of it by any stretch of imagination, but on the road, the visiting team, the longer they can stay in it, I get that same feeling.
Tony Bowles, blazing speed back across the 30 on a short kickoff, and gets it out around the 32. Well, our Monday Night Football presentation here on ABC is a good one. Next Monday night, the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears. If you know anything at all about football, you know that's going to be a whale of a ball game. There's Schnell. Now they're working on it.
That's not his ankle.
No.
His ankle.
Bruised tailbone is what we're told.
What happens there, your back tightens up, your lower back, and
it hurts.
Yeah.
Oof, it hurts. All right, Horde is back in there now in the backfield with Bowles, and Michael Taylor on first down takes off. Got a block on the corner and goes for a first down. Close to it. And a penalty flag trails the play back at the 34. They've handled Bowles pretty well today, but it's the other folks who've been tearing them up. The fullbacks and Taylor.
Well, that happens a lot when you key on one player, a tailback, and decide to stop him. The other guy will get you.
A clip, Michigan. Oh, my goodness.
Well, he lets you know what he's feeling, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, no secrets. No secrets. Two and a half minutes to go in the first half.
Flipping. Offense. Repeat first down.
There have been some surprises today around the country, and Al Trotwood will bring you up to date at halftime. Now Michigan backs up inside the 20.
You know, aside from that one long run by Leroy Horde, the Hoosiers' defense has really played very well.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, you feel that you sense a grip that the Hoosiers are really getting on to this game. Well, they should. I mean, they're seniors. They're a veteran group, and they should be able to play away from home. I think back to the road game last year that this same Hoosiers team played against the Michigan State team for the Big Ten championship and lost that game. That is experience that they're drawing on to here today.
Taylor looks up into the bright sun and throws behind Tony Bowles. Incomplete forward pass. That sun is coming at an angle over the corner of the stadium. Very bright, popping out of the gray sky occasionally. And Taylor was looking right into it.
Long shadows when you look toward their sideline. When Michigan looks toward their sideline. Great for the receiver looking back, but for the quarterback, it's tough to see.
Okay. It'll be second down and 23. Snell now is on his way to the locker room. He may have a problem. Taylor again to throw. Gets it off down the middle, and it is incomplete. Almost picked off by Mark Berry, number 21, intended for Tony Bowles.
Berry has really been playing well of late. He's the fifth-year senior who walked on originally. Almost had an interception, had one 2 weeks ago at home against Ohio State. He was almost benched before that ball game, had not been playing well, but the last two ball games he has really turned it on, playing very well.
2:05. Third down and 23. Huff, little shovel pass, gets the ball into the hands of Horde, and Horde is out to about the 29. And Huff came in under a full head of steam and level. Taylor just as Michael released the ball.
This is unfair for Taylor because they run it this way because they know Huff will take himself out of the play. Now watch 35 Huff. Taylor is the guy that's responsible for Huff. He does a nice job of taking him out of the play. Nobody has to block him. But Michael Taylor says, hey, I don't want to run that play too often.
Indiana now spending a timeout. They have one remaining at 1:56 to go in the first half. And Michigan on fourth down has Gillette in the ball game. So the Hoosiers saving some time with the timeout will get the ball back, and Bolliard is going to be the quarterback.
Huff is really the leader of that defense. He has really made plays all year long. He leads in sacks. He leads in tackles for losses. They tell me he has a 41-inch vertical jump. I've never heard of a linebacker with a 41-inch vertical jump.
All right, Gillette ready to punt it. Buford back. Like punt earlier today, two of them were 35 and 44. They have been low line drives too, both of them. Pressure. Hoosiers come, but he gets off a high hanger this time and forces Buford into a fair catch up around his 36-37. It's a 35-yard punt, but it's a very effective punt in that it forced Buford to call the fair catch.
Well, they had a punt block on, too. There was 10 men rushing and nobody back to help block for Buford. They almost blocked that kick.
That's close. Snell in the clubhouse, and Becky Dixon has the story.
All right, thank you very much, Keith. I just talked to the Indiana doctors. They say they will examine Snell at halftime. He is in a lot of pain with that bruised tailbone, and they'll make a determination as to what to do in the second half at halftime.
Thank you. From the 35 now, Bolliard brings him up. 1:48 remaining to play in the first half. 7-6, Michigan. This is Thompson. Goes to the boundary side and gets decent yardage out of it.
About all you can do for a bruised tailbone is put a little hot pack on it at halftime, put some analgesic on it.
Take
an aspirin.
A couple of aspirin and lay down.
Try to go. So look at Indiana's first half possessions. Started onside of the 50 every time except the once when they got on the 44-yard line of Michigan and got a field goal out.
2nd and 7. Bolliard has good protection, is on the money to Thompson. Thompson gets away and gets the first down out of it. Up across the 45. So that's a good effort by Anthony Thompson.
Thompson came into the ball game with 12 receptions, so he does catch the ball and catch it well coming out of the backfield. I think it's a good way to use him, too, because you know they're keying on him on the run, so send him out in the pass pattern.
Yeah, he's tough one-on-one. Bolliard's pass thrown low. Thompson couldn't catch it, and again, the sun, I think, probably is a factor that he had to look back into the bright sun and didn't get it.
first down. Well, they do too, but they haven't flipped over the marker. Wait a minute. Okay. 45-yard line. Let's see if he goes a little deeper with his pass this time. Nope, stays underneath with it, and again, the ball is low, and again, the ball is dropped by Anthony Thompson. So, is having his troubles on the last two.
Yeah, well, Bolyard, too, is in there. He didn't
got a shot putting that
play.
ball in.
Yeah, he's right. He's not turning it loose. He doesn't want to turn the ball over to Michigan, and he knows they're dropping back in zone. The only thing is open is short, and he's throwing the right thing. He just needs to go ahead and throw it.
He's sort of pushing it. He's got to wing it.
But again, he is a fine quarterback, and he can play the game.
So it's third now and 10. That one intended for Thompson and is overthrown. As Anthony was trying to get in between them, dropping behind the linebacker and in front of the corner. But it doesn't work, and so the Hoosiers now with 118 are in punt formation. Well, a little bit of an anticlimactic moment there in that the Hoosiers starting quarterback Snell has bruised tailbone and is out of it. Timeout on the field, and here's a look at the Hoosiers home.
私の言ってることがわからないのはあなただけじゃないですよ。日本で企業に勤めているアメリカ人のほとんどもわからないのです。実のところ、アメリカ政府の外交官の多くが外国語が話せないのです。それなのに在米外交官のほとんどは英語を流暢に話しています。It's getting tough for America. And one of the most important universities in America just got tougher. Indiana University. We're all for you.
The entire Michigan team called to the sidelines for a conference. Indiana's on the other side of the field. Bill Mallory there. Bolyard is in the punt, averaging better than 45 yards per kick. And he gets it very high. But he's been pressed into hurried duty in relief of an injured Dave Snell. At the quarterback position.
He almost blocked one earlier. Let's see if they go after it again.
They got 10 up there. Penalty flag. They might have started too soon. That's a good kick. Oh, it is a great kick. A spectacular kick. Coffin corner. Marked out inside the 154-yard punt. Look at that. But it's going to come back. It looks like. What a spectacular punt.
This is Bolyard's first year at Indiana. He started off at Ohio State, as I mentioned. His father was an
illegal procedure, offense, repeat fourth down.
Father was all Big Ten basketball player. Bolyard went to Northeast Oklahoma Junior College, where he led them to the Junior College National Championship last year as a quarterback and made the All-American team as a punter. So he can play.
Now he's got to try to do it again. Again, Michigan comes, and again they get pressure, and again it's a very good kick. High kick. And a fair catch by Colasar back at the Michigan 15-yard line. So it's a 45-yard effort that time with no return. And the Wolverines now with 2 timeouts remaining and 1 minute and 2 on the clock, leading 7-6. Colasar's out there on the field all by himself. While the rest of the offensive unit gets final instructions from both. And here we go. Well, if there's a gimmick in the book for this particular game,
I think they're just content right now just burning out the last minute, being backed up in their own territory and going in at halftime ahead 7-6.
Michigan State beat Illinois today. Holds with the ball, just tucks it away, wraps both arms around it, and runs it out to about the 22-yard line. Pick up the 7, and the clock is now running. So Indiana and Illinois, the two teams with clean conference records. One has fallen. And coming up to halftime here in Ann Arbor, the other one is trailing by a point with a half to go. Taylor wanted to load it up and let it fly, but couldn't find anybody, and so he takes off and goes out of bounds. Out at the 27, and that'll be good for a first down.
Taylor leads the Big Ten in passing efficiency. A little bit strange for a Michigan team, you would say, because aside from Harbaugh a few years back, they have not had a quarterback to really come in and take over. Demetrius Brown was a quarterback last year and had some problems with interceptions. Michael Taylor had the opportunity this year and has really brought some consistency to this offensive team, and this is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, they might not have two losses. He's been there a little more seasoning. This is bold. No place for Tony to go. That ought to be the last play of the half, unless Michigan wants to spend the timeout. Now they stop it with 10 seconds and charge a timeout to the Michigan Wolverines. That leaves them 1 with 10 seconds. Time for one play. Washington State, UCLA out of the Pac-10 next week for some of you. Iowa, Indiana for the rest of you. Starts at 3:30 Eastern Time next Saturday here on ABC Sports.
Indiana is really going into the crunch time of their schedule, as you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast. Michigan here today, Iowa next week.
They got Illinois.
Get the easy part of their schedule out of the way in the first 6 games.
28-14, the final over in Champaign today, as I told you. So the Illini get their first conference loss.
I asked Cole about Michael Taylor. He said, what does he do best? What is his best attribute? He says it's his intelligence. He's extremely smart. In fact, he was an academic All-American in high school.
Handed away. Tony Bowles bolting up the field. Gets up to the 37. And time is run out. And so at halftime, the Michigan Wolverines lead the Indiana Hoosiers by a score of 7-6. Early touchdown on the first possession and 2 Indiana field goals accounting for that scoring.
It's Chevy versus Ford, compact and full-size pickups in a test of standard 4-wheel drive systems. They start in 2-wheel drive, but they're going to have to shift into 4-wheel to make it across the ditch of doom. The Chevy shift and keep going, but the Ford drivers have to stop and lock hubs. Why is America having a change of heart in pickups? Chevy gives you standard shift on the fly, Instatrack. Ford doesn't.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevy truck.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Tragedy struck the flying Wallendas. Now Angel Wallenda is fighting her way back to the big top. Her first attempt back on the high wire, exclusively on Incredible Sunday tomorrow.
Everybody's doing it in Carolina.
Moving, hauling,
Having fun.
couldn't have done it without my truck.
GMC Truck.
Everybody's doing it.
Get off the beaten path. Head for the fun in a Trucker Jimmy from your Carolina GMC truck dealer.
I couldn't have done it without my truck.
S15 pickups, full-size Sierras, touring vans, work vans, Jimmys.
Thanks for the date.
You couldn't have done it without your truck.
GMC Truck. Head for your Carolina GMC truck dealer.
Imagine a rapid exchange of information with your company's branches around the world, performed with consummate ease and precision from your own desk. Now you have an idea of the dynamic communications capability of the Pentafax UF250. Now your company will profit from the ability to send and receive vital documents in seconds. The Pentafax UF250 can render legible the finest print and capture all the subtle gradations in a photograph. And now your company can enjoy the benefits of the Pentafax UF250 for as little as $60 a month. Phone Telecom of South Carolina, your local Pentafax dealer.
Is there a thief about to strike? Monday at 5:30 on Sanford.
The Prudential College Football Halftime Report is brought to you by The Prudential. Your Prudential representative goes above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services. The Prudential, your rock in financial services. Now from Studio One in New York, Al Trudwick.
Well, good afternoon. Don't go making your reservations in Pasadena, New Orleans, or Miami just yet to follow your favorite team to a bowl game. The conference races are exciting and in many cases a scramble as a result of what's happened today. Let's take you first, Arizona and UCLA, as we run down the top 10. The nation's #1 team, the Bruins, for the first time this week, 14-0 at halftime, leading Arizona. 5 of the last 7 games in this series have been settled by 7 points or less. Maybe today that string will be broken. 7 Bowl Scouts today in South Bend, Indiana, watching Notre Dame, second-ranked, and no letdown to be found as they beat Air Force 41-13. Tony Rice in the third quarter, a little razzle-dazzle. He pitches to Steve Bells. He throws to Ricky Waters for a 50-yard touchdown. That made it 34-13. Tony Rice passed for 2 touchdowns on the day. Few distractions for Notre Dame this week, by the way. It was fall break, and there were no students to be found, so they were able to concentrate on the game. Third-ranked USC is idle this week, so UCLA could catch them in the Pac-10 race for the win today. Everyone's already looking forward to the USC-UCLA showdown on November 9th. It's a sellout in Pasadena. 99,000 will be there, and so will we on ABC Sports November 19th. Fourth-ranked Miami pitties Cincinnati. They're angry. In the second quarter, it's 34-0. Steve Walsh came out of the box on fire. 3 first-quarter touchdowns to get the Hurricanes going. Nebraska, for the second week in a row, a big offensive day. 48-3 as the Kansas State Bataan Death March for Stan Parrish. Their coach continues 48-3. That game's in the fourth quarter. West Virginia runs their record now to 7-0. They beat Boston College easily 59-19. Penn State will be next, and the Mountaineers have to think that they've only won 1 of their last 32 games against Penn State. Florida State, already troubles with running back Sammy Smith. They lose quarterback Chip Ferguson today, but it doesn't reflect in the score. 59-3 in the fourth quarter for the 7th-ranked Seminoles, who are 7th because a voter left them accidentally off the poll this week. Tonight, 8th-ranked Oklahoma will be under the lights for the first night game ever in Boulder. Colorado hasn't scored a touchdown against the Sooners in the last 3 meetings. Michigan State turns the Big Ten race upside down as they beat Illinois 28-14. That's the Illini's first loss in the Big Ten race, and Michigan State, with a record of 2-1-1 in the Big Ten, is still there too. Iowa comes alive against Purdue today, 31-7. It was an offensive day under blue skies, to be sure, in West Lafayette. Iowa's quarterback Chuck Hartley had an 11-yard touchdown pass to Devon Harberts. Watch this catch. If it was a blur to you here, imagine what it was to the secondary for Purdue. Amazingly grabbed an 11-yard touchdown pass that made it 70-7, and Iowa wins big. Northwestern and Wisconsin, the last chance for Wisconsin to win a game, I think, on their schedule. Northwestern beats them 35-14. The Badgers are 0-7. To the Southwest Conference, where Auburn takes advantage of 6 Mississippi State turnovers, 33-0. The 10th-ranked Auburn Tigers lead in the fourth quarter. Kentucky over Georgia today in the upset of the day. The Georgia Bulldogs were the only undefeated SEC team. In the third quarter, 2 plays after a Georgia fumble, Alfred Rawls scampers 48 yards for a touchdown that made it 13-10. Throw in another field goal for Kentucky, and Kentucky snaps their 10-game losing streak to Georgia. The SEC race is now a scramble. There are 5 teams all tied with 1 loss. Alabama also involved in that race in a battle of field goals with Penn State 6-3. That's in the third quarter in Birmingham. Syracuse, a win today over East Carolina. Who came up with East Carolina Pirates' schedule? It's awful for them. 38-14. Syracuse wins big on the road. The Textile Bowl, NC State 10. Clemson 3 as the Wolfpack beats the 9th-ranked Clemson Tigers for the 3rd consecutive year. Clemson had many turnovers in the game that led to that defeat. Maryland tied with Clemson for 2nd place in the ACC with a 10-point win over Duke. The Blue Devils led at one point, 16-0. That's a final. High-scoring game for the Cowboys in the WAC, you bet. It's Wyoming over Utah right now, 61-18. How about a pat on the back for 60-year-old coach Paul Roach, the man they call Gramps, guiding the Wyoming Cowboys. Southwest Conference Arkansas over Houston today, 26-21. Kendall Traynor had 4 field goals as the Razorbacks stay undefeated. Texas A&M and Rice, it is 24-3 Aggies. They can't win the conference title, but their games do count in the schedule and the standings. Oklahoma State's Cowboys and Missouri, 12-7 Cowboys in the second quarter as they try to recover from that horrible loss to Nebraska last week. Washington and the Oregon Ducks, this one's in Oregon, and the Ducks lead 7-0 in the second quarter. Continuing in the Pac-10, Washington State and Arizona State early in the first quarter, no score. Army and Rutgers at Giant Stadium today, and Army wins 34-24, 22-0 now, and they passed less than 6 times today. They passed twice, and so that record is alive. Pittsburgh 52, Navy 6. The freshmen continue to perform well for Pitt. They could be a factor in the future. Virginia 34, Wake Forest 14. Only the second time in history that all 4 ACC games have been held in the state of North Carolina. Mississippi and Vanderbilt in Music City, and Mississippi surprises the Commodores 36-28. That's a final. Tennessee and Memphis State as the Volunteers try to finally get a win. Their record may be 1-6 if they hold it here against Memphis State's Tigers. Fourth quarter, they lead at 31-17. We'll have more from New York in a moment on the Prudential Halftime Report.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do.
I'm a Prudential representative. When I talk to people about CDs and mutual funds, they're surprised at the wide range of investment opportunities I can offer.
You work hard, so do we, to make what you work for a reality. The Rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
From the first gray light of dawn to the last red glow of dusk, around the world, the sun never sets on a time, on a place that hasn't been influenced by the Big Ten universities and their graduates. In outer space, the Persian Gulf, drilling for offshore oil, exploring the mysteries of science, faculty and students of Big Ten universities blend brain power, research capability, skills and talents, devotion to excellence that spell a national leadership that's different and lasting. Athletic programs reflect the same kind of dedication to being the best. So whether it's early dawn or the fire of evening, around the world, the sun never sets on what the Big Ten means to the quality of life, made better by skills, academic innovation, and the positive values of intercollegiate competition. The Big Ten, unique, great, uniquely great.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do.
I'm a Prudential representative, and I help people review their life insurance needs because I know how much the right life insurance means to me and my family.
You take pride in your life, so do we. Going above and beyond is our policy. The Rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
Welcome back to the Prudential Halftime Report. Boy, it doesn't take much to knock you out of the top spot. The Miami Hurricanes lose their standing. They're missing a 2-point conversion. That means this point of high esteem is held by the UCLA Bruins and the gold helmets of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, the score you're watching, Michigan 7, Indiana 6. That's at halftime. We're going to go into the climate-controlled archives of Campus Camera again and learn that history can repeat itself and history can be made with someone special in charge. Roll it. You won't find Nashville, Tennessee's newest star performing on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry, but what a performer he is. An inspiration to students at Vanderbilt University on the field and off. Quarterback Eric Jones's performances have earned him Heisman consideration in '88, but on campus where he formed the first Vanderbilt chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, a black-run fraternity, his leadership skills are just as apparent.
I would love to be thought of as Eric, the football player that led his team and wanted to win, and also was one of the starting founders of Kappa Alpha Psi, with a fraternity that has grown into one of the biggest in Tennessee.
Many have tried to do what Eric has done. That and a powerful arm make him special.
I
The tradition of the Rose Bowl parade is almost 100 years old. In January, it has been announced that the Grand Marshal will be the same person it was exactly 50 years ago, Shirley Temple Black.
It's not often that one gets to repeat a highlight of one's life. It was a highlight in 1939 to be the Grand Marshal of the Tournament of Roses. And it's just amazing that I've made it to be able to be at your centennial.
Things are quiet at Eric Jones' fraternity today because Vanderbilt, as we earlier reported, was a loser. As for Shirley Temple Black, doesn't she look great? We'll be back on the Prudential Halftime Report in a moment.
For over a century, the Prudential has been helping American families make their dreams come true. With rock-solid protection and guidance toward a brighter financial future. Today, we can help make another great American dream come true. Finding a place to call home. The Prudential Real Estate Affiliates, one of the companies of the Prudential.
The future is now at the University of Michigan. A worldwide leader in education and research, we've been a prime mover in attracting major national centers for manufacturing science, space robotics, and computer communications to Michigan. As a full partner with the state in creating the fastest growing high-tech corridor in the country, the university is developing people and ideas to generate new investments, new jobs, and economic growth. As citizens, educators, and students, we know that in Michigan, the future is now.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do.
I'm a Prudential representative. When I talk to people about CDs and mutual funds, they're surprised at the wide range of investment opportunities I can offer.
You work hard, so do we, to make what you work for a reality. The Rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
Tomorrow, America's Sunshine Forever mounts a challenge to become North America's draft champion of the year. He's tested against a world-class field in the Budweiser International. Then a breed unto themselves. The Boston Celtics, the NBA's winningest team, competes against world powers in the McDonald's Basketball Open. All live tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Tennessee and Memphis State 31-17 in the fourth quarter. What's the significance of this? Well, if the Volunteers win, Duncan Stewart, the man who currently is passing along his time on a vigil aboard the billboard in Nashville, Tennessee, could come down if Tennessee wins. He's probably packing his bags as we speak. That's it for now on the Prudential Halftime Report. We'll see you in the second half.
This has been the Prudential College Football Halftime Report. Brought to you by the Prudential. Your Prudential representative goes above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services. The Prudential, your rock in financial services.
We're at halftime in Ann Arbor at Michigan Stadium with the Wolverines leading Indiana by a score of 7-6. And now let's enjoy on a homecoming weekend the University of Michigan Band. Music from Zorba the Greek. first let us run the two highlights of this ball game, other than the 53 and 45-yard field goals by Stoyanovich of Indiana. But here's the way Michigan got its touchdown in its very first possession of the ball game. Leroy Horde finds the track and goes 54 yards for the touchdown.
Early in the ball game, and I think Ziegler coming from the bottom, number 16, starting in place of Coleman, should have made the tackle and didn't, and Horde took advantage of it. Michigan gets an early touchdown from a man they didn't think would be doing more than just blocking for a bowl.
As a matter of fact, Indiana has handled Tony Bowles pretty well in the first half, but the Michigan fullbacks have run up big yardage. But here, in my judgment, is the key play of the ball game. We're on second down and goal with that huge offensive front. Michigan runs this little pitch outside. Bowles loses the ball, and Ziegler comes up with it for Indiana. It could have been 14-3 at that point. Travel a yard's all they had to do, but they didn't. They turned it over, and since that time, Indiana sort of taken control of the ballgame.
Well, I agree with you that was the turning point. It could have been 14-3. Now it's 7-6. On the goal line, you don't do anything fancy. You don't toss the ball unless you have to. If you can't run it in a boring, straight-ahead, over-the-top play, then you do those fancy things like the wishbone and tossing it and all that other stuff. That was not a good play for Michigan. They turned it over last week in the last minute against Iowa for a tie that they didn't win. And we said, coming on the ball game today, if they're very young, the thing they had to do was avoid making mistakes, and they have not done that.
There is bad news, however, for Indiana. Before the half, David Schnell suffered a bruised tailbone. Doctors examined him at halftime, and we'll just have to wait and see whether or not he's able to come back and play in the second half, the starting quarterback. So that means if Schnell can't play, then a considerable burden falls on Bolliard and the kicking game for Indiana.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
An ATV is a lot of fun, but it should be taken seriously. So if you ride one, you better follow these instructions. Always wear a helmet and protective clothing. Children under 16 need adult supervision. Children under 16 should never ride adult-sized machines. Inexperienced riders should take a qualified training course. Riding an ATV the wrong way could lead to serious or even fatal injury. If you're gonna play it safe.
Folks, please. Hey, we can't turn in a verdict while there's still a reasonable doubt.
Bob Swam has a dry shirt, but that doesn't mean he smells good. Because underarm odor is invisible, he needs new Sure Solid, our most effective wetness and odor formula yet. So, Bob, why come to court with a dry shirt and a false sense of security? Tomorrow, get the total protection of today's Sure.
You were right.
And be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.
Thanks.
You give your all to all you do. Don't settle for less from your shampoo. Wash and go First Plus.
To get great-looking hair, you don't need separate shampoo and conditioner. Get it together. In just one step, get your hair clean, more manageable.
Get one that does the work of two.
For control you can't get from shampoo alone.
Wash and go.
Shampoo plus conditioner in one.
First Plus.
ABC's College Football is brought to you by Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one. So now you just wash and go. And by Honda, who invite you to test drive the Accord LXI four-door sedan at your local Honda dealership today.
Dave Schnell is out running around, loosening up. He has bruised tailbone. That can cause muscle spasms and tightening in the back. So he's doing everything he can to stay loose after probably getting a very warm rub down and examination from the doctors in the clubhouse. It is a tricky little injury. It's probably not a particularly serious injury, but here, as you look at the stats, I want to make one further point on the Indiana quarterback situation. They only have two. They don't have a third quarterback. So Bolliard, if he should go down and Snell can't play, they'd really be in a pickle.
Halftime statistics, the thing that jumps out at you is that one turnover we talked about for Michigan where they fumbled inside their own 2-yard line. Total plays, everything else is about the same. Indiana not being able to rush the football very well. Normally Thompson has at least that many yards in the first half himself.
Now let's join Becky Dixon.
Keith, you're now looking at the President's Box here at Michigan Stadium, and as you can see, there's a big crowd on hand today. And with me right now is the new president here at the University of Michigan, Dr. James Duderstadt. Dr. Duderstadt, you just took office in September. How have things been going? Any surprises so far?
Well, I've been surprised by how nerve-wracking football is in the Big Ten this year. So I think perhaps the most surprising thing is how deeply people care about universities like this, not just students and their families, but people throughout the state and the nation.
What specifically would you like to accomplish here at the University of Michigan in the coming year?
I'd really like to prepare this university really to face America of the 21st century, to educate the students that will be citizens of that country at that time and to serve that country, to serve it as universities must.
All right, thank you very much and good luck in those goals. You have a great view up here, by the way. Keith?
Warm too, isn't it, Becky? All right. On a chilly autumn afternoon, here we go with the second half. Michigan will kick it off, and we'll see if Snell answers the call. It's back at the 4 for Darrell Edding, and the Hoosiers going to get pretty good field position as Darrell comes back up to the 29-yard line. Lance Dutton brings him down, and there's number 11 talking to his coach, and he's coming. 7-6, 1-point lead for Michigan.
You know, Keith, you mentioned that they only brought 2 quarterbacks. Well, their free safety, Brian DeWitts, who is a fifth-year senior, used to play quarterback. In fact, he started 5 games in 1986, and he may be their emergency third-string quarterback should they need one.
Right now, Dave Snell is out there to see how far he can go with Thompson and Boyd lined up behind him. First down at their own 29. Thompson hit in the backfield. Number 60, Martin Messner, was in there and got a piece of him to slow him down. J.J. Grant put him away.
Let's take a look at the Indiana first half possessions. They had a field goal on their second and fifth possessions. Missed a field goal, punted once.
Loss of about 2 yards, make it second down and 12 now for the Hoosiers. Ball back near the 27. And Snell to throw. This is a test. Pass is away. The pass is good. And the game is relatively short as Anthony Thompson is well covered. By throwing that ball, and when Bolliard was in relief for Snell, they threw that play twice. Are they conceding to Michigan that Michigan has stopped Thompson as a running back?
I think so. What they've said, and last year he only gained 77 yards in like 20 carries, so they have a history of not running well against Michigan. They knew that Michigan was just setting down, so they're trying to get him the football in another way.
3rd and 5. Snell pumps, throws down the middle, skips in front of the intended receiver, Tony Buford. Buford was open. Snell didn't get it to him.
Whenever you have a lower bad back or tailbone, as Snell has had, you tend to tighten up a little bit. He needs to keep that loose, stretch it out, and if he's going to throw it at all, it's probably going to be short rather than overthrowing anybody.
I thought you could tell there that he short-armed it, didn't he?
Michigan number 40, John Colasar.
All right, Bolliard is in the punt, and Colasar drops back for Michigan. Just starting the 3rd quarter. Got a little room for Colasar as Bolliard didn't get all of it. And John comes all the way back up to the 44-yard line. 31-yard punt by Bolliard that time. So he didn't hit it very well.
Here's what Michigan has done when they haven't had the opportunity in the first half. Notice they scored the first time they had the ball, and then nothing after that. Of course, that fumble had 13 plays and a fumble. That occurred on Indiana's 1-yard line, so almost a touchdown, but close is not good enough.
Bowles and Horde open up behind Taylor. Bowles has it. Get a yard on the carry. Rolled back by Schlereth and Harris. The Indiana kicking game is very good. That last punt might not indicate that to you, but that's the poorest punt Bolyard's had in some time. But their kicking game is very good.
Bolyard only had 14 punts coming in, and if he had enough to qualify, he'd be ranked in the top 5 nationally.
Came in averaging 45. So it's second down and 9. Baylor options down the line to Bowles, and Tony Bowles will move it up to about the 48 before Brian DeWitts and Mark Ferry bring it down.
Joe Huff, 6'1", 225. He only weighed 205 when he came to Indiana, and his mother had to be the liaison between he and Mallory. Said, listen, if you don't take my son as a walk-on, I'm going to send him to Ohio State. Mallory said, send him up. He earned a letter his first year as a walk-on. A lot of hustle, a lot of speed. He's smart now.
Well, that's a long 5. Taylor puts it up deep. Oh, my goodness. McMurtry hauls it in, and number 38 got lost on the play. Mike Dumas, the cornerback, absolutely got lost on the play. He was the man that was the closest to the ball. Andre Hall was back there, too. They sort of gave up on it, it seemed, and McMurtry just kept going after it and got it.
Well, the protection was fine, as you saw. This is an excellent throw. His foot is on the line, it looks like. You can run that back just a little bit. It looks like his foot is on the line. All you need is 1 foot inbounds, not on the line. We're not going to see it from that angle either.
All right, this is the big fullback, Horde. And Leroy Horde hammers down to the 15.
Let's take another look. 1 foot inbounds is all you need. Now he has possession.
He's on the line.
He's on the line. Official is right there. Should have called it.
Wasn't looking at his feet.
Well, it's tough. It's tough when you have one official there. You got to look at the catch to make sure he has possession, and you have to see his feet. Normally, if there's 2, they'll be trained. 1 will take the catch, and 1 will take the feet. That time it was a mistake.
Something else to argue about. But it's first down. Michigan at the Indiana 15. And this is Bowles for the 13. Jim Sams on the tackle, number 91 for Indiana.
Sams that time was going against John Vitale, the All Big Ten center for the University of Michigan, and did a nice job of getting by him.
So Michigan gets a big break on that pass reception. Wolverines leading 7-6. Second down from the 13. Bowles again. Inside the 10, down to the 8. He's got some power. He weighs 190 pounds. He just put his head down and went after it that time and got pretty good gain out of it as he hammered Willie Bates.
Michigan has big offensive linemen, but they also pull. Watch 73 and 78. Dingman is 78. 73 is Doring. Watch him as both of them get out of there, get their bodies around. Walker, number 89, gets a nice block at tight end. I don't see big men moving. They were kind of dancing on their toes coming around.
3rd and 3. Taylor looks to throw it. Now takes off. He's out of bounds right about the line of scrimmage. Brad Money and Terry Saunders with the pursuit.
It's good defense. Keith, 9 seniors in that defensive setup for Indiana. They've seen it all before. A lot of them have started for 2 years, 3 years, some of them for 4 years they've started. It's a very veteran, experienced ball club.
All right. David Weil will snap it. Ken Solom will hold it. And Mike Gillette will kick it. And he'll kick it from the 15. 25-yarder is good. And the Wolverines now move it out to a 10-6 lead with 10:02 to go in the third quarter.
It has a classic design and an engine that sings. They came across country by wagon and settled in Manna, Iowa. Whatever they needed, they made by hand. Made it the best it could be. That same fundamental is still practiced today in Amana, Iowa, the home of Amana Appliances, a Raytheon company. Whatever you make it the best it can be. Raytheon, where quality starts with fundamentals.
That's the home of one of the outstanding law schools in the nation, Law Squad, here at the University of Michigan. A lot of heavy hitters occupying those premises. All right, we pull back into Michigan Stadium with 106,104 watching today. And Mike Gillette will kick it off for the Wolverines as they lead 10-6. Darrell Eddings, Rob Turner, and Markel Granderson are the beat people. Back a yard deep in the end zone, it's Granderson, and he's coming. And he made a mistake. He is buried at the 14.
Indiana had a return set up to the left side of the field, and the ball was kicked all the way over away from the return. He couldn't get over there, so he did the only thing he could, and that is take it upfield and get as much as you can.
Could have left it alone if you had it on the 20.
Try to tell an 18-year-old kid that.
You're right. Absolutely right. And we never want to forget it either. If they are 18, 19, 20-year-olds playing. Dave Snell is out there at quarterback. Pitch it to Anthony Thompson, running to the boundary side. And gets 4 or 5 yards out of it. As Eric Anderson brings him down. UCLA in the third quarter not having it so easy in Tucson against Arizona. Well, Notre Dame won rather handily. And Miami is out big at halftime over Cincinnati. I would imagine a little angry. Nebraska continues to roll up points. And so does West Virginia. Second down and 6. And it's to Thompson, and Thompson loses a couple of yards as T.J. Osmond, the middle guard, got instant penetration. Brought him down. They don't let him bring signs into Michigan Stadium. Well, they wear them. Michigan State beating Illinois 28-21 today, and Francis Day got a win for the Northwestern Wildcats. It is third down and about 7. Big upset, Kentucky beating Georgia. Snell back. Gets it away and overthrows his man. Rob Turner, the intended receiver, and the ball was well overthrown. And so now the crowd is back into the ball game. We haven't heard much of this 106,000 since that opening possession.
Well, Michigan hadn't done anything since that opening possession. They fumbled on the 1-yard line. They took their first possession of the second half and moved down and got a field goal. Indiana in 2 possessions has done nothing to punt.
Walliard's last one was 31 yards. A little better this time, but still not up to his standards. Colasar moving around, finding some room, picking his way, and winds up at the Indiana 46. 7-yard return after a 36-yard punt, and 8:55 to go in the third quarter.
America was built on dreams, and business is the key. We ensure where America works, we're USF&G. From the mountains edge to the ocean's edge, we ensure you every day. We protect what America's made of. We cover the USA.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
Dr. John McCarroll of Indiana. He says that quarterback Dave Schnell is still very sore, and as we saw out there, his mobility is somewhat limited. Dr. McCarroll says they'll leave him in, but they're just not sure how well he'll be able to move. Chief.
All right, Becky, thanks very much. The ball is at the 47 of Indiana. It's the first time in the ball game that Michigan has started a possession on the Indiana side of the field. They lead 10-6. Here comes the reverse. McMurtry's going to set up and throw. And Callaway is wide open. Touchdown! As you mentioned, possession inside the other team's 50-yard line, first down, a reverse, you come back and throw it, McMurtry with an excellent throw. Gillette's point, good. Push down play, I formation, toss, McMurtry coming back around. Was the #1 draft choice in baseball by the Red Sox a couple of years ago, but wanted to come to school to get an education. Can also throw the football. Callaway makes the catch. Play only took 9 seconds, and Indiana now has a problem.
At his home in France, wine expert Christopher Stevens invited friends to guess the price of the special cork-finished American Burgundy.
Très bon.
Qu'en pensez-vous?
65.
They guessed between $10 and $12.
70.
How much was the wine from America? You already know.
18 francs.
Because it's the same red wine you're probably drinking now.
C'est incroyable.
Today's Hearty Burgundy from Ernest and Julie Ocala. All the best a wine can be.
At UPS, we're changing the look of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. An accomplishment we feel deserves a little flag waving. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
recently, 12 new cars were chosen to compete for the Motor Trend Import Car of the Year award. When the results were in, the top 3 places were won by Honda. The CRX SI, Civic, and Prelude. Who says it's lonely at the top?
Michigan kicking off, leading now 17-6 with 8:45 to go in the third quarter, and this time Rob Turner, a yard deep in the end zone, puts his knee down, and they'll take it up on the 20.
Take a look at the end of this play now. Callaway is waiting for the ball. DeWitt's number 13 seems to go in a little bit late. You know, he should have gone up with both hands to try to block the vision, or at least knock the ball down, or if anything else, foul him intentionally. Because the foul in college, it goes back 15 yards from the line of scrimmage.
They'd have got him for face guarding probably, but
no, there's no rule in college face guarding. You put 2 hands up and do anything you want. But you know, he should have fouled him or something, but he just swatted at it with 1 hand.
Foul would have been the better decision there, truly. Anyway, the Hoosiers now trailing by 11. They start at the 20, and here comes Thompson into the middle, and 2 yards at the most. Well, Michigan's red hot right now. The crowd's back in the ball game, and Mark Messner and John Milligan get that tackle.
Well, Messner came into the fray today very active, and he's getting around Fryer, number 79. You know, the Miami coaches, when they played up here a little bit earlier in the year, said this man right here is relentless. He just never stops. He's always in motion, always moving.
Second down, 8. Nell, under pressure, goes down. Sacked back at the 11 by Messner.
Messner is the career leader in sacks and tackles for losses at the University of Michigan. This time just fights. That description was good, relentless. He just doesn't want to stop. And the coverage was good downfield that made Snell look twice, and that was enough time for Messner to get in there.
The Hoosiers struggling right now at 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ball is back near the 11. They've got to go to the 30 to get a first down. Got him again. This time it was Alex Marshall coming from the outside.
It's a very poor series for Indiana. And a great series for Michigan.
Bolliard now is going to have to punt the ball from the back line of his end zone. Michigan has been able to put some heat on him a couple of times today. You know they're going to go after him here. It's a pretty good kick out of there. Colasar back at the 47. Over the 35 and down at the 34. 46-yard punt and a 13-yard return. And the Wolverines right now are red hot.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine tune your life. Nobody's got to tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine tune your life.
Fine tune your life with Emerson.
This memory is brought to you by Unicel. Since 1951, we fueled more NASCAR winners than all other gasolines combined. And we put that same high performance and winning spirit into gasolines for your car.
What you say we take her for a spin, Murph?
Richard.
Washington State tackles the #1 team in the nation, UCLA. Or a key Big Ten battle when Iowa takes on Indiana. Next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Well, that couple of numbers right there clearly define what has happened here in this third quarter. Michigan leading 17-6. They own the ball first down at the Indiana 34, and they're threatening to blow the game open. Hort and Bowles behind Taylor. It's Hort. Just about the line of scrimmage. The quality of the opposition has always been a very good measure of the quality of a team. That right there, I think, tells you something.
Coming in, Indiana had played 6 teams. None of them had had winning records to this point, whereas Michigan lost to Notre Dame by 2, lost to Miami by 1, and tied Iowa. You know, by 3 points. They've lost 2 and tied 1, so they've played a tougher opponent so far.
Taylor back on 2nd and 9, the sideline to McMurtry. And right at the 25, out of bounds, a yard short of the first down.
Where is Michigan rushing the football? Mostly up the middle and to the right side. They don't run left very often.
And they have shut down Indiana's running game. Wishbone now on 3rd and 1. With 2 fullbacks, Bunch joining Hort and Bowles. And they go to the up man, Bunch, the big guy, 240 pounds, and he has the first down at about the Indiana 23.
Schembechler said the pressure is on us. Since we have that tie in the conference play, we need to win this ball game. Conceivably, Indiana could lose this game and still win the Big Ten title.
Callaway in motion. Taylor back. Looks at Callaway. Hits him in the middle. Callaway is down to the 2. Well, he got lost out there in the secondary, didn't he?
He did, and he's right here. Callaway just going to go in motion and just come down here and hook. The wide receiver's going to go to the outside, and the linebackers are going to drop all around him, and it's just going to be a zone coverage. And the ball is right there, and he's just going to do something with it after he gets it. Now he's got one-on-one to get to the end zone. DeWitt misses, and he gets down to about the 2-yard line.
Well, it's going to be officially the 1 closer there, and this is Hort, touchdown. Second of the day. Michigan Wolverines exploding here in the third quarter. And Gillette will try to make it a 24-6 lead. On the money.
Offensive line. There's no option here. Power football. Dingman 78. Bowles 42. Can't get any easier than that.
So it's a 24-6 lead for the Michigan Wolverines. Indiana's points coming on 2 field goals by Pete Stoyanovich. The Budweiser International Horse Race, one of the top turf races in the world. And horses have come from all over the world to participate. Live 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central and Pacific. Then you will have the McDonald's Open from Madrid, Spain, the Boston Celtics against Real Madrid. See how the Celts do against some European competition. And it's a very, in the view of Commissioner David Stern of the NBA, a very significant tournament being played in Spain. And it could well be, it'll change the face of international basketball, too. Because our guys have been going over there for a good long time now, playing with various teams. Gillette will kick it off with Eddings, Turner, and Granderson back, and Turner's the man in the middle. They don't like him to get it. But now leading 24-6, they'll kick it right to him, and they'll kick it to deep. Gillette, with that powerful leg, gives him no chance to return the ball. Here's Becky Dixon.
Keith, a familiar sight along the sidelines of any football game is drinking water. But here at Michigan, you won't find just plain ordinary water. No, the Wolverines drink designer water. Now, this you might expect to see out on the coast, USC or UCLA. But bottled water right in the heart of the Big Ten? Keith, you know, there are some people who say that real men don't eat quiche, but the Wolverines are living proof that they do drink designer water. And today, it seems to be working.
Designer water? I guess. Becky moved to Beverly Hills and she's calling it designer water. First down. Where they're playing in the third quarter, we ought to test that water. Pass is low, intended for Cal Miller.
Well, there's no question that his back has got to be bothering him. It was a simple short pattern to a man that was wide open, and he threw it low. Doesn't look good for Indiana being down 18 points late in the third quarter, and your quarterback has a bad back.
Michigan is on fire right now. Everything going their way, and they're making things happen.
Indiana, they just need some first downs to slow this momentum that Michigan has coming out second half.
Messner's after him. Snell's pass again low, but picked up this time by Anthony Thompson, but he can only get 4 yards. Fierce pursuit now for the Michigan defenders. UCLA is now 17-0 over Arizona in the third quarter at Tucson. Bruins going into the game ranked number 1. Terry Donahue is not about to get into conversation about that. He's walking around on eggshells. Last time they were ranked number 1, they went to Tucson and got beat.
They weren't number 1 very long, were they?
Nope, 1 week. It is 3rd and 7. Snell takes a wicked hit from number 88, Brent White. He gets up and walks away, and he just had to dump the pass to keep from taking the sack and a big loss.
You know, Messner right here, number 60 for Michigan, is just causing all kinds of problems for Indiana. He's come out this second half and just playing great. Fights off the Fryer, number 79, chases him out of the pocket, and that's another punt coming up.
And Bolliard, in his last 2, has kicked, well, he's kicked 31-36, and his last one was 46, and he got all of this one. Good high-hanging punt. Goes back to Colasar, who gets away from 2 cruisers and brings it back near the 40. That was a 45-yard punt. We're down to 4:36 now in the third quarter. And Michigan jumping out here in this third quarter with an explosion, 24-6. The Honda Scholar Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Honda, and the award goes to Mark Kingstad this week, a senior linebacker from Arizona State. He had 21 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception in the loss last week to Stanford. His grade point is 3.48 in accounting, and Honda will present a check for $2,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of Arizona State University in Kingstad's name. Congratulations, Mark. On first down, they give it to Jared Bunt. And the big man hammers his way out to near the 47-yard line. They're going to give it to the big guy now, let him beat on him for a while. Right here at 4:19 to go in the third quarter, let's pause 5 seconds for our local station's identity.
WPDE TV 15, Florence, Myrtle Beach.
Second down, 3 for Michigan. Near their own 47. This is Tony Bowles to get the first down as he crosses midfield. Michigan scored in their opening possession, then fumbled an opportunity away at the Indiana one. Indiana had 2 field goals in the first half, and it was 7-6 at halftime. The Wolverines have come out and exploded in the second half, running up 24 points, and they've had field position through the entire possession time of this second half. That makes a big difference. They have it right now, first down at the Indiana 49. Illinois lost today to Michigan State, 28-21. And Horde caught from behind and brought down by Joe Huff. Jared Bunch it is, 32. So 35 got 32.
Here's Huff right here, number 35. He's just going to slip inside of 73 Doring. And if the offense can't make something happen for Indiana, then the defense will have to. Huff gets in there and makes a nice play. But field position, as you mentioned, and that graphic just showed you, has been all in Michigan's favor the second half.
They've got 3 wideouts now on second down and 12. Taylor's going to put it up. He's had a pretty good day. Shoots one down the middle, tight end, Derek Walker, first down. Across the 40, fumble, and Indiana's got the ball. Saunders comes out of there. Terry was one of those involved in the fight as the tight end had it. As he went down, they stripped it away from him. And so the Hoosier defense forces a turnover.
Taylor again puts the ball right on the money with good protection. Huzar is 74. Vital is there. Walker, number 89. It's close as to whether his knee hit before the ball came out, but it's a big turnover. Yeah, it's a big turnover for Indiana. If it did hit, it balances out because earlier one of the calls went for Michigan on that sideline throw.
Tom Bolliard is now in at quarterback. Snell is just too tender and too stiff, apparently. So Bolliard is in there at quarterback now for Indiana. And that ball is almost intercepted by J.J. Grant. Bolliard has not yet really hummed the ball with authority. He's 1 for 6 for 8 yards, and he's been sort of pushing it.
They came in only having thrown 9. Let's go back and take a look. If the knee is down before the ball is out.
Well, now the ball is in his arm clearly, right? The knee is clearly down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else you need.
Yeah. His knee was down before the ball came out. Tough call for the official, but that's
sure.
Yeah.
Very difficult. I would not quibble about that one. Second down, 10. Pitch it outside. Thompson's got it. Got some help on the corner, and he's going to have a first down for the Hoosiers at the Michigan 49. So a little option action opens it up for him.
Let's go back and take a look what the official was looking at, how fast it happened.
Oh, sure. So quick, you can't quibble about that kind of a thing.
That's for sure. I think this is a good move by Mallory in putting Bolliard into the ball game. You went 3 series with Snell in the second half. He's not done anything. He's throwing short. Get your other quarterback in. Maybe you can bring you back.
That's their first down of the second half. Thompson hit behind the line of scrimmage by number 60, Mark Messner. Oh, he's certainly come alive here in the third quarter.
He has started playing in the second half. Look at number 60, the left side of your screen. 64 is Radke. He goes right inside of Radke, who is one of their best players on the offensive line. Gets in the backfield, and it's a 2 or 3 yard loss.
Not all that big. He sure is determined.
He's quick. Never gives up.
Second down and 14. Bolliard finally gets rid of it to Anthony Thompson, but by then Anthony is swarmed by the maize and blue.
Michigan doesn't do a lot of things defensively that could give you any cheap plays, any easy touchdowns. They usually play 7 or 8 men deep in zone coverage, and if they can get a pass rush from their front 3, especially with Messner, then they've got the best of both worlds.
Right. They now literally have you outnumbered, don't they? Getting looser.
They're a little thin in that defensive line, too, with the injury to John Herman. He's out for the year, and also his backup, Manuel.
It is 3rd and 8. Murray's pass is going to be intercepted. There is a penalty flag back where the ball was thrown, and Beta Murray has picked it off. Actually, all Beta had to do was stand there and catch it, because it was thrown right to him. Indiana called for holding. They'll refuse it.
Let's take a look. Take a look right here. Mesner's right here. He's going to come in, but watch Radke, number 64, as he's going to help on Mesner. He knows that Mesner is. You guys can watch him stick his hand out there, pulling down the official. The umpire right there makes the call, and Murray sees it all the way. It's an easy interception.
And Murray is still down with that tackle from the back. He got belted pretty well. I think it was Rob Turner that hit him, and Beta Murray, with 4 interceptions, is still on the field. Timeout for him at 51 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Murray was an outstanding defensive back in high school. Had just a bunch of interceptions. Did not play at Michigan last year because he was a prop 48. Take a look at the end of the play. Looks like his foot may have gotten caught underneath him.
Came down on the ball, and that thing is hard.
Yeah. Hopefully that's all it is. We got the wind knocked out of it. Oh, it looks like it's
like a leg.
Yeah, I think he got his foot caught up underneath him when he fell. He didn't know there was someone behind him. He has 4 interceptions. This is his first year playing. He was a freshman last year at Michigan. Did not play. This is his first opportunity to play this year, and has done an outstanding job for Michigan. Second half of possessions for Indiana. No field position.
Yeah, but that starting point of possession, starting point, been limited, and then add in some sacks on top of it. Much less. This is Leroy Ford carrying the ball. And let's check in with Becky now to find out what the late word is on Dave Schnell.
Well, Keith, word is that he was not taken out of the ballgame because of medical reasons. The coach just feel he's too hampered with that injury. Not very effective, not very mobile.
Okay. If you've ever had a bruised tailbone, you know what he's going through. Hard to walk when you got to pull it back. Second down and 8 for the Wolverines. And Bowles pokes out, gets up to the 30-yard line. Alabama easing by Penn State 8-3. That was a thriller down in Birmingham. I'll tell you what, though, Bill Curry will take it.
Any way you can get him.
Here at Michigan Stadium, nearing the end of the third quarter, the Wolverines blow it open here in the third. It was 7-6 at halftime. Now they lead 24-6, and they are looking at the leg of Beta Murray, their fine defensive back, who just had an interception. Dave Schnell, bruised tailbone, and he's very, very stiff. Not been effective since he got hurt. That's how much Michigan needs for its first down.
You know, you talk about, as we look at Bo Schembechler, you talk about the injury to Schnell with his tailbone being bruised earlier in the ballgame. Indiana has been very fortunate the last couple of years as not to have many injuries. They've had very few players out of the lineup offensively or defensively due to injury. And that's one of the reasons for their great success.
The weather's starting to clear considerably now, and the wind has eased off as well. It's not an uncomfortable evening here at Michigan State. Well, we've got 1 quarter to go, and the Wolverines lead it by 18.
For years, you've seen some commercials where one battery company's toys outlast the other toys. So you may have assumed their battery outlasts even Energizer batteries. Fact is, Energizer was never invited to their playoffs. And today's Energizer won't be invited either. Why? Because no battery lasts longer than Energizer. So now you know. A word to the wise. Energize.
The
shape is distinctively advanced. A cockpit designed for comfortable travel over time and distance. The Honda Prelude SI, a slightly ahead of its time machine.
Peter Jennings on World News Tonight, the anchorman for the 90s. Nightline's Ted Koppel, a master at making the complex clear. ABC News, America's choice.
Seems that in the car business today, the belief is held that whichever dealer can make the most ridiculous promises, scream the loudest in their ads, or make the most obnoxious commercials, those are the dealers who are going to get your business. Sorry, but at Cale Yarborough Honda and Cale Yarborough Mazda, we don't believe any of those things. Cale Yarborough has built a reputation based on honesty, quality, and treating his customers like old friends.
Fall fashions for men and women. Find yourself in the newest styles from Chapin. Contemporary casuals that offer distinction in fashion. A standard of excellence in men's and women's clothing. You'll find it at Chapin. The latest in fashion at affordable prices. Find yourself in a style that says it all for fall. Find yourself at Chapin, downtown Myrtle Beach.
A blast from the past, and Webster's Missing, Monday at 4:30 on TV 15.
The alumni band tootling it up. Homecoming weekend. Third down and about a foot. And Michael Taylor will go after it. And appear to get it. Does. So it'll be first down for the Wolverines starting the fourth quarter of play. They have owned the second half. I mean, they really dominated that third quarter. They run up 17 points to none for the Hoosiers. Ball is exactly on the 31-yard hash mark. That's McMurphy, the wide man, to the bottom of the picture. Involved in one of the big back-breaking plays of that third quarter. Bowles. Michigan with an 18-point lead and a quarter to go is not going to do anything except beat on it.
Look at the total offensive. Michigan with 349 yards. Indiana only 174 and only 66 yards rushing. Coming into the game, Indiana had averaged 293 yards on the ground. As Bo Schembechler said, defense wins championships, and his defense leads the Big Ten.
Second and 5. Taylor pulls it down. Dives to the marker, and he's close. At the 42 before Brad Money makes the tackle to amplify on what you were talking about, Indiana's rushing game. Anthony Thompson came into this game averaging right at 161 yards per game. Today, he's carried 16 times and picked up 54 yards.
Yeah, in last year's game against Michigan, he had 77 yards. So Michigan can shut down a good runner. And, this is the first game that Indiana has really played anybody with a winning record. I think they're finding out something about their team today.
This is Bowles. About 4 yards. It's going to be up to Indiana now to make a big play defensively. Otherwise, the Wolverines are just going to beat on them and just crunch the ball down the field.
Yeah, their defense got a turnover the last time they were on the field, and their offense didn't do anything with it. They need something defensively. Some big plays, some turnovers to get some field position for their offense.
Oregon out ahead of Washington in the fourth quarter, 10-7. That figured to be a dangerous stop for the Huskies in Eugene. After their all-out effort last week at Southern California, where they lost by a point. Fullback. Oh, look at big old Leroy Hoare. He's off to the races again. Going. Touchdown. That is his second 54-yard touchdown run of the day. He got one in the very first possession of the ball game. And now this one. Third touchdown of the day. Gillette for the point.
Nothing fancy, a run right up the middle. Vital, Huzar, Dingman, Grepenek, and Doring all get their men out of the way. Horde just outruns the defensive secondary. His second long run of the day.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test. Alaska. Death Valley. City traffic. Coast to coast to prove under the most extreme conditions you can't buy a better antifreeze coolant than Xerox. No matter where you drive.
My mom's going to Tokyo on business. Tokyo, where's that? About 1,000,000 miles away. Wow, she better bring a sweater.
Every day, Northwest flies from more of the U.S. to more of Asia than any other airline.
You just got a frequent flyer award, huh? That's right. You don't fly frequently. No, infrequently. How can you be a frequent flyer if you don't fly frequently? How can I hit the ball if you're talking to me? How can you hit the ball if you're going to be talking over there?
On Northwest, you don't have to fly a lot to earn a free trip fast.
Tomorrow, join Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. They take the court against international competition in the McDonald's Basketball Open. Live tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Good friends, these two. Bill Mallory had 3 sons. 2 of them have graduated from Michigan. The third one, Kurt, is a redshirt freshman at the University of Michigan. And Douglas, who is a graduate assistant now with Mallory at Indiana, was the defensive captain last year for Michigan under Bo Schembechler and helped Snell get ready for this ball game.
Turner at the 7. Down at the 24 or 5 and a penalty flag. Hold it. We got a penalty. Hoosier's getting a little frustrated now.
Yeah.
Nothing has gone right for him in the third quarter since the whole half. And it's a clip call against him, and here's Becky.
Keith, I just talked to the Michigan doctors, and they say free safety Veda Murray has injured his right leg. They think it is a sprained ligament in his right knee. He probably will not return to today's game right now. As you can see, he's sitting on the sidelines with ice on that knee, a very disappointed young man.
Sprained ligaments are tough fellows to heal, too. One thing you can do is stay off of it.
Usually put him in a cast, just immobilize it for a while.
All right, here's Bolliard coming out. Indiana now will have Iowa at home next week. Then they have to go to Champaign to play Illinois and then finish off with Michigan State. And then a trip to Purdue. Tough part of their schedule here today and the rest of the season. First down from the 18. Bolliard's pass is away good to Buford, and Buford is out of bounds across the 30 at the 31. The Michigan Wolverines aren't exactly out of the woods themselves as far as the schedule is concerned. They have played a 10-10 tie with Iowa. They are playing Northwestern next week, Minnesota. Then they finish the season with Illinois at home and then travel to Columbus against Ohio State.
I would say that they would have the inside track looking at their, they got the easier part of their schedule ahead of them, and they would be leading the Big Ten by half a game after this game if they should win.
Give it to Anthony Thompson, and Thompson straight ahead. The one thing that Indiana has not been able to do, they have not blown, the offensive front has not blown Michigan off the ball today.
Well, they haven't. And we didn't, that was no surprise. We didn't anticipate them doing that. Michigan can shut down a good running game, and you have to be able to throw. And again, defense is going to win your championships.
Second down and 8. Bolliard steps away from the pressure. Lets it go. Buford can't pull it in. Tony was being rattled around as the ball came to him, and he couldn't hold it. The moon is out.
Halloween can't be far behind.
Ole Miss came back to beat Vandy. Tennessee broke the drought. Johnny Major's got to be breathing a sigh of relief. Oregon State, I'll tell you what, that Wilhelm is having a pretty good season for those Beavers, that left-handed quarterback. So Bolliard calls a timeout. Wants to talk. Third down and 8 coming up.
Please fill in the space. Which car has the largest list of standard luxury features of any car in its class? Which car has more front leg room than any car in its class? Which car? This car. The new Honda Civic LX four-door sedan. Just fill in the space.
If you think you might need some new hand tools, think about this. Sears Craftsman hand tools are built so tough, we guarantee them forever. And we mean forever. From the frigid Great Lakes
An Alka-Seltzer Plus, that's all I ever needed.
to the icy mountains of Oregon,
It's been excellent for me.
more and more Americans are taking Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. Fast, effective relief for tough winter colds.
In a word, it works.
That's Demetrius Brown, number 7, warming up on the sidelines. He might get a little playing time before this game is over. It never hurts to let that backup have some snaps. A 31-6 ball game. Michigan now in command. Indiana, third down and 8 from their 33. Tom Bolliard out of the shotgun formation. Gets his pass off. Good to Anthony Thompson. He's got to get past the marker, and he does for a first down. The Hoosiers need a couple of big happenings. And their defense on that last series looked tired. They looked whipped because Ford just ran through 3 people in the defensive secondary on their way to his 54-yard touchdown. Thompson slowed down in the backfield, and then 95. J.J. Grant is there to bring him down, and here's Becky.
Thank you very much, Keith. Earlier, you talked about the alumni band. We saw them. And with me right now is a very celebrated member of that band. He is Mr. Tom Roach, and who happens to be a regent here at the University of Michigan, and also is the cover story this weekend at homecoming. Tom, let's go back to 1948 to 1950, your days here at Michigan. What's your favorite homecoming memory?
I think it was all of the homecoming displays, the homecoming parade, and coming down. We didn't have an alumni band then, but coming down with all of the alumni back from all over the country. It's a very exciting day.
What's the biggest difference marching today than 40 years ago?
Well, the style hasn't changed that much, but this drum seems to get heavier, and it hits my leg harder every year.
But you're not any slower. You can beat it just as that.
I keep up.
All right.
I keep up.
Thank you. I bet you do. Keith.
I keep up. I like it. Whistle and a penalty against Indiana before the snap of the ball. Illegal procedure. Can be any number of things. Oftentimes, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 14.
But the Wolverines been impressive the way they took command in the second half. There'll be a lot of Big Ten coaches remaining on their schedule that'll have their attention after this explosion. Back goes Bolliard. Throws underneath. Not much on the play as Carlos Marte, the tight end, makes the catch.
The Big Ten has been a little bit off this year. I mean, they have not had the good non-conference record, and I think there's one team that may be sneaking up on some people, and that is Michigan. Michigan lost early to Notre Dame, lost early to Miami, and they started off 0-2. But if they would have scored 3 or 4 more points, they would have won both of those ball games and been right at the top 10. And near the top, if they would have won both those, they could have been ranked number 1. So Michigan is a force to be dealt with in the Big Ten title race.
On 3rd and 12, Bolliard's got to throw it. Deep sideline, Turner. Rob Turner's had a good day. He had some big catches in the first half, and he hauls in a big one right there and gives Indiana a first down on the Michigan side of the field. UCLA now putting Arizona away in the 4th quarter, leading 24-0.
It's a big win for the number 1 team on the road. There's Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator for the University of Michigan. Has done an outstanding job today, shutting out the Hoosiers. No touchdowns anyway, a couple of field goals.
From the Indiana 42, from the Michigan 42, the ball is rolling around on the field. Nobody sees it, and finally a Michigan man pounces on it. There were 2 Indiana people there looking for it as Cal Miller lost it, and they didn't see it. Rolled right between the legs of one, and Michigan recovers the fumble.
And you got a lot of Indiana Hoosiers standing around. It's got to be a big disappointment for Indiana as we take a look at Harris going on.
31-6 the score.
This is a car. This is a Big A Pro Auto Repair Shop that uses quality Big A parts to service your car. This is a Big A Auto Parts store where you can buy said parts to work on your car yourself. This is the Big A Road to Savings, during which you can get great deals at this and this for this. And this, one of my vacation slides of my twin brother.
Look for the Big A Road to Savings going on now.
I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I have the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? I don't know. What are you going to do? You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Hey, really, I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The GI Bill.
Are you using that pickle?
For young men and women in the armed forces, it's a great place to start. See a local military recruiter.
Joe Montana leads the 49ers against Jim McMahon and the Chicago Bears as 2 of the NFL's top quarterbacks take the field on ABC's Monday Night Football.
UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman is having a great day. This is his 3rd touchdown pass of the afternoon, a 56-yard effort to Corwin Anthony, and the Bruins lead Arizona 24-0 in the 4th. Mark's happier here in the second half than he was the first.
Let me show you what they're doing. We talked about them slanting. He's going to slant between the center and the guard. And let's show you what happens when he slants between. We said they were going to try and stop the running game of Indiana by slanting. Well, he gets between them. He doesn't know which one has the ball. Knocks it loose. Lets Bolliard go and then tries to... What a great half he's played in there.
Go back there and the Monk's going to sort him out. Just cause some destruction. Jared Monk 240-pounder, junior. Playing with a sore shoulder, but he's had a pretty good day, and he's done some power running all right. Alan Jefferson now checks into the backfield for Michigan, number 28 at tailback. This is another running back that Bo still says is going to be a great player.
Well, they have three outstanding tailbacks. All of them are sophomores. Tracy Williams, Bowles, and Alan Jefferson.
Now they're juniors, aren't they?
Sophomores.
There's your bunch again. Oh, he looks strong today. He had a very sore shoulder, but he certainly has shaken it off. That'll be another Michigan first down, and the Indiana defense now very tired. They have been on the field most of the second half.
Yeah, those tailbacks are sophomores' eligibility-wise. Juniors academically.
Good solid hit by Joe Huff on Alan Jefferson. Just about the line of scrimmage is where they'll put him down.
There's been one player for Indiana that has really had an outstanding game defensively. It's this man right here, Joe Huff, number 35. That is the way to do it right there.
I now remember why I'm confused, because we have them listed as juniors because Bo lists them all as juniors.
Yes, he does.
According to their academic cluster. Yep. Does that mean he won't let them play if they're eligible for this year? Second down and just a little more than 10 as Michael Taylor drops. Takes off. And penalty flags as he is rolled down around the 36. Jim Sam brought him down. This is a clip against the Wolverines.
Young man with a hat on there, just walked behind the side of the booth, is Doug Mallory, who played as a strong safety, a captain for Michigan last year, and is working as a graduate assistant at Indiana this year. His other brother used to be a graduate assistant at Indiana, is Mike, and he's now, I think, an assistant coach at Kent State University.
Time remaining in the ball game is 8:03, and Michigan has the ship sailing smoothly, leading 31-6. The clipping penalty moves the ball all the way back to their own 43. They've got to go down inside the Indiana 33 for the first down. On second down, Michael Taylor to throw the ball. Does. Caught by Brown, the tight end, at midfield. Walker, rather, the tight end. Eric Walker, 6'2", but all of those tight ends are big people. Brown weighs 250. Walker weighs 245. Diebold weighs 250. Keith Mitchell, 230. And a bunch of tackles running around out there.
They are big, aren't they?
On the midfield, third down. Get over there.
Third down and 17. Taylor puts it up deep. McMurtry can't run it down. Too far. Way over his head. And that'll bring up fourth down.
You know, you might question Michigan throwing, being ahead 31-6, but running is what they do best. I mean, if they want to run the score up, they would run, but I don't think there's any problem with it. I think these two coaches are good enough friends to realize that, you know, you're playing now for next week. This game is already won, and Michigan can show other teams that they can throw the ball deep. That's what they're trying to do.
Gillette will hit this one from around his own 40. And Bubert's backed up, standing at his 12 now. Come up to the 20. Will the dead run take it? 11 elects to stay in bounds and works his way up to about the 32-yard line. 6:45 to go in a game that's going to be won apparently by Michigan.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under sunny skies above. Don't fence me in.
Now UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge.
Don't fence me in.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Shrouded in secrecy for years, the stealth bomber will soon be introduced to the public. For the record, we introduced ours first.
Monday, Fatal Attraction.
She's got him.
Sorry it had to turn out this way.
MacGyver, Monday before football.
The sun's going down. A lot of color there. And the moon is up. And it's Indiana's ball, first down at their own 31. Bolyard getting a lot of work on his throwing now. Hits Buford at midfield. He's starting to throw the ball now with accuracy and some authority. When he first came in relief of Schnell when Dave was injured, suffered the bruised tailbone, he was very tentative.
I think you can see in how well he can throw it, too. Of course, there's no pressure on him now. The game is all but over, and he's just out there getting some reps.
He's 7 for 14 and 82 yards. Just over midfield, first down for the Hoosiers. Throws it a little bit behind Anthony Thompson, and there's a penalty flag in the melee around the quarterback, and it could very well be, no, it's going to be a face mask, and the face mask call goes against Indiana. So in trying to ward off the persistent Messner and company, one of the Hoosier defenders or protectors of the quarterback grabbed the face mask.
Face mask, offense, repeat first down.
So back comes the marker. Way back, inside the 36.
Indiana brings the ball back to the 36.
15 yards. Whew, that hurts. Well, Indiana had not won a ball game here in this stadium since 1967. Oh, another year's going to go by. On first and 25, Rob Turner makes the catch. Gets back to about the 47 before he is brought down. Bill Mallory now is going to have to go home and hope he can heal his quarterback and regroup.
But, he shouldn't feel like a Lone Ranger. There are not many teams that have beaten Bo Schembechler. In the 20 years that Schembechler has been here, he's lost only 8 Big Ten home games. That's quite a record.
It would not appear there will be any particular movement in the top 10. The rankings this week. Bolyard's pass, again thrown to the sidelines. Anthony Thompson gets it and goes out of bounds. He's going to be short of his first down, so it'll bring up third. West Virginia club, they seem to rise up against old foes and let them have it. BC a licking today. Michigan State upending Illinois with Iowa beating Purdue. Things are starting to sort out.
You know, you talk about Mallory. He has won everywhere he has gone. He was at Colorado and won. He was at Northern Illinois. He He has turned this program around, and he was the last coach to take a team from the Big 8 to the Orange Bowl other than Nebraska or Oklahoma.
On 3rd and 7, throws it under to Thompson, and Thompson fights his way for what appears to be a first down, very close to it. So Anthony Thompson still got the fight, even though his team was sort of overrun by a herd of Wolverines in that third quarter.
It's frustrating, too, for these Hoosiers. They feel like last year they didn't get any respect when they beat Indiana, when they beat Ohio State and Michigan in the same year for the first time in a long, long time. They felt like Bo came back here and says, well, we didn't play well, and it was our fault, we did this, and we did that. And they felt like, the Hoosiers felt like they didn't get any respect. Well, that's just the way Bo is. But they were looking for some respect when they came up here.
So a tough run by Anthony Thompson right there.
But this is not going to decide the Big Ten championship. It will go a long way towards it, but Michigan still has to go the rest of the season, 4 games, and not lose a ball game or tie one. And if they can do that, their destiny is in their own hands.
I think you can tell by when Bo takes off his headset, it's kind of like Red Auerbach lighting a cigar.
That's true.
Well, I remember the Miami game when he got a grin on his face. He hadn't taken off his headset, and Miami cut loose with that fusillade of points to beat him. 31-30.
He's been 20 years at Michigan. He's the winningest active Division I coach, and he's 5th all time.
Well, he's also the athletic director, and he's going to get into that in time. And one of the things he's going to have to consider is a recent proposal that apparently was stimulated by Frank Boyles at Arkansas, that a 12th game be added to the college team schedule. Here's a pass for Buford, overthrown and out of bounds. And I think it is worth hearing what Bo Schembechler's reaction is to the proposal for adding a 12th game to the collegiate schedule. This is what he told me.
The only reservation I have, there comes a point where we just can't continually tax these youngsters who are trying to pursue a degree and to play football at the same time. When I first started coaching, we played 9 games. The athletic departments got in financial difficulty, we went to 10. Once again, years later, they got in financial difficulty, we went to 11. Now everybody's in financial difficulty again. Are we going to go to 12? Somewhere along the line, we've got to draw the line.
Bolliard running the ball for Indiana is caught before he can get out of bounds and pulled down by Mark Spencer, who shows up at a linebacker position for the Wolverines.
Bo sounds a lot like George C. Scott. I mean, made a lot of sense in what he was saying also. Disciplinarian, a very tough coach. He has done an outstanding job with his program. He gets boys and makes men out of them. And I think that's the same kind of program that Bill Mallory has on the other side of the field. Very good disciplinarian and has the whole picture in mind.
4th down and 4. Bolliard getting good protection, throws, and it is incomplete. And the ball will go over to the Michigan Wolverines. Anthony Thompson trying to pull it in front of Tim Williams and couldn't do it. So at 2:53 to play, this one seems in hand. One of the scores that you saw a little while ago involved the Wyoming Cowboys as they rolled up some points today. They have the longest regular season winning streak right now. Wyoming has won 17 in a row, and Randy Welniak today threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another, and they won 61-18. Demetrius Brown is now in at quarterback for Michigan as they take over from their 27. And he hands the ball to Allen Jefferson. He just runs it off the right side and gets the clock going. And at this point of the game, there is very little reason for the Hoosiers to be spending their time out because this issue is resolved. Tracy Williams is in. It was Tracy who had the bad luck last week to fumble the ball on the Iowa 1. And they had to settle for a 10-10 tie. Brown gives it to Williams. A little confidence building here. He runs in heavy traffic. The MVPs for Chevrolet coming up in a moment. Chevrolet donating a $1,000 scholarship in the name of each of the players to their respective universities, and we'll announce that at the conclusion of the ball game as we move inside 2 minutes to play. So Indiana, getting roughed up today, goes home to play a rough customer next week, the Iowa Hawkeyes. They were winners today over Purdue. Illinois went down, so that leaves Michigan in pretty good shape as Brown whips one, and it's caught by Tracy Williams, and he's across midfield to the Indiana 48-yard line. Crowd of 106,104 watching at homecoming weekend, and the penalty flag thrown on the flag.
I don't have any problem with this at all. Michigan's up 31-6. Demetrius Brown, the backup quarterback, is in, and you're throwing the football. That's fine. If something should happen to Taylor where he goes down, your backups have to be ready to play. And I think the coaches on the other side of the field understand that, especially these two who are good friends. And as Bo told us, we even made vacation together in the off-season.
Well, there's always some squawking, when there's any hint of somebody running up the score. But at the same time, as Bob says, you must prepare your own people. On first down, Brown gives it away to Chris Orange, who's now in at fullback. He's a junior from Huntsville, Alabama. Picks up short yardage on the play. We are now at a minute to go in the ball game. Well, we've run down most of the scores. We had Al Trautwig in Hawaii a week early. He probably
Let's hope he has a nice trip next week.
Maybe we won't let him go now.
Ball carried by Alan Jefferson.
Swarmed is Alan Jefferson carrying the ball and rolled down short of the line of scrimmage, but no big deal. It's a seasoning process now as we look at the Big Ten standings. After today's action, Michigan on top. Iowa has 2 ties, Michigan only 1. Indiana now and Illinois and Michigan State all have 1 loss. This will be the final snap of the ball game. Counting it off, and the Michigan Wolverines have defeated the Indiana Hoosiers by a score of 31-6 to move atop the Big Ten Conference standings.
No, Pringle. Got the fever, got the fever. No, Pringle. Got the fever, got the fever. Got the fever, Pringle. We've got the fever for the flavor of a Pringle.
Never felt this clean as now. Zestfully clean. Exhilarated wow. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Soap leaves a sticky film on you, but Zest is not soap. So Zest rinses clean away. Leaves no sticky film like soap does.
Zestfully, zestfully, zestfully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Honda Accord Coupe. It's music to your eyes.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, The patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable. Washington State tackles the #1 team in the nation, UCLA, or a key Big Ten battle when Iowa takes on Indiana next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
The Chevrolet Most Valuable Players, Anthony Thompson for Indiana, Leroy Horde for the University of Michigan, $1,000 scholarship for the General Scholarship Fund to the respective universities by Chevrolet for deserving students. Tomorrow begins on ABC Sports with the Budweiser International Horse Race from Laurel, Maryland. And then see the Boston Celtics against Real Madrid in the McDonald's Basketball Open from Madrid, Spain. 31-6, Michigan a winner today.
ABC's College Football has been brought to you by Honda, who invite you to test drive the Accord Coupe at your local Honda dealership today. By UPS, we deliver to every address in the U.S. and to 41 countries worldwide. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines.